Welcome back to Provo, where Brigham Young University has won the toss. They have elected to receive, and so Derek Mahoney, a senior from Fountain Valley, California, will do the kicking off. He does the punting as well. Tyler Anderson, who's probably the fastest player on the BYU team, and Steve Christensen, 25, are back for the Cougars. And Mahoney with a line drive to the corner of the end zone. It will not be returned. So BYU will start at their own 20. Even though it wasn't pretty, it was effective because there was no run back. Well, this university has produced a lot of great quarterbacks over the years. Steve Clements is out of Texas, and he has not played that much. You can see he's 12 of 17 this year for 119 yards and a touchdown. He has been number 3 on the jet chart. Jamal Willis, Kalen Hall, the running backs, with Drage, their top receiver. Empey, Edwards, Simmons, Pilgrim, and Herring. Herring at 6'8" and 335. The big guys up front on first down at the 20. And Clements to pass right away. Incomplete, intended for Steve Christensen at about the 26. Threw behind him, and Ron Papazian, number 95, was covering for Fresno State, their leading tackler.
No doubt Clements is feeling a little bit of the jitters right now, getting in there for the first time in a while. Well, actually, last game didn't get in much. He got in a bad situation. But he, for Lavelle, is the drop back guy, the guy who'll stay in the pocket and execute the offense the way they want it run. For BYU, they're going to have to stop the run with Rivers and Daigle, the all-purpose guy. No big pass plays, and they're going to have to pass the ball effectively on first down.
Kalen Hall, the lone setback, and he's only able to pick up about 3. Out to the 23. Sam Watson, the strong safety, number 7, gets in there. Hall's been averaging just over 5 yards a carry. And the defensive line for Fresno with Bell, Edwards, and Rockwell up front. The 4 linebackers are Smith, Peter, Papazian, and Stoutmeyer, a freshman, playing very well. Burton Jones, Watson, and Thomas in the secondary. Jamal Willis, number 29, in at running back, along with Hall. 3rd down, 7. Clements can run, and he will for the first down after about the 34. Brought down by 95 Ron Papazian and 52 Chris Peters.
Really not too much Fresno State can do that time. Had a perfect coverage in the backfield, in the defensive backfield. Clemens does a smart thing. He pulls it down and just takes off and runs with it. He has Willis there in the flat, but go make some yards. And this is one thing the Fresno coaches do not want to see happen all day long. They want to see this guy duck and shake back there and avoid the pressure, but they don't want to see him take off and run the football. That is very demoralizing.
They want to break containment. Gain of 11 on first down. Kalen Hall bobbles the handoff and gains about a yard before Papazian and Chris Rockwell, number 98, meet him there. So it'll be 2nd and 9 at the 35. Rockwell, a junior out of Oroville, California. Good pitch. Jamal Willis trying to cut back, and he is met immediately by Lance Thomas, the free safety, right about at the line of scrimmage. The Fresno State defense reacting very well. And each of these teams, Ron, has had a problem stopping the run.
Yeah, and you know, coming into the game, Willie Robinson, defensive coordinator for Fresno State, they're switching up their whole defensive look. They're going to 4 down linemen and 4 linebackers, but what they're going to do is take the 2 outside linebackers and bring them up, and they're going to replace them with safety-type people. That is going to give them more mobility on the run and to check out those backs coming out of the backfield, because BYU loves to go to those guys coming out of the backfield.
So now on 3rd and 7, they spread the formation. Clements with good protection, incomplete. It was intended for Matsusaki, but he could not hold on. Micah Matsusaki is senior from Honolulu, one of just a number of receivers BYU will run out there at BYU, but it's 4th down, and the Cougars will punt it away. Here are the conference standings going into today, as well as each team's overall record, and you can see that there are 2 other teams undefeated besides BYU in Wyoming and San Diego State. all of these top teams yet to play each other. So freshman Alan Boardman on to punt. And the exciting Charlie Jones, number 24, back deep for Fresno State at about his 25. Boardman hits it well. Jones will be driven back. It lands inside the 10 and rolls out at the 3. What a punt by Boardman. They'll mark it at the 2-yard line.
I think that's one area that both these two teams will have to try to make a stand in here today to make something happen a little out of the ordinary. And this is one way to do it. The art of pooch kicking or pooch punting. They practice that all day long, getting that ball to roll out right there. Really puts the defense in a good position and puts the offense in a big hole.
Well, he just pooched it 61 yards, a career high for Boardman out on the 2. So Trent Dilfer and company not able to run their regular offense. Ron Rivers gets around the corner. Up to about the 6 or 7 in the grasp of Corey Cook and Nathan Hall, number 49. Cook getting a start at safety today. Here's Trent Dilfer and what he has done in his career. He's a junior and he is a big-time NFL prospect. Also touted as a future Heisman Trophy candidate for next year. Rivers, Mexico, Winans, Jones, and Jeff Arnold, the tight end. Winans and Jones, good wideouts. Collins, Coldiron, James, Hartman, and Hall. They have 3 guys up around 300 as well. Rivers again, but nowhere to go. He may have even lost a half a yard.
See, Fresno State in a 2 tight end offense. That's telling you right now they want to run the football, but they still have the ability with 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers to pass it effectively. And Steve, you know they got the perimeter people to pass the football.
Up front, Brock, Gomes, Pitts, and Hall. There are 3 Halls on this team, including Nathan Hall, Yearbook, and Hergert. None of the 3 Halls are related. Carlton, Mitchell, Christensen, and Cook in the secondary. Swing pass. Anthony Daigle goes to a knee and will lose yardage at the 4. And Nathan Hall, 49, right on top of him.
And I think they had what they wanted that time. Daigle's got to stay on his feet. Daigle's such a good all-purpose back. And you look at the keys to success for the Bulldogs. They got to get pressure on the quarterback. Jethro Franklin, defensive line coach, he talked about 54 Brad Bell being the man to get it up for him. Establish a running game. They're trying to do that. Not much success here in the opening series. And they got to make some big plays right here on special teams.
So Mahoney on to punt, averaging 36.5 yards from the end zone. Mike Johnston, number 84, back deep. He'll take it, drops it, and falls on it at about the 44. And BYU will have possession.
That's what I'm talking about, Steve.
BYU will also have outstanding field position. So we'll take a break here in Provo. No score in the first quarter. We'll be back.
The interior of the new Honda Accord creates an open environment. It's roomy and comfortable and available in fine leather. The reinforced body is insulated to be quieter than ever. When you consider everything the new Accord has to offer, it becomes an open and shut case. The new Accord EX from Honda.
For the first time, there's a saw that combines a 12-amp motor, dust collection, and an auto brake. So there's no limit to what you can build. Introducing the Quantum Circular Saw, new from Black & Decker.
My dandruff shampoo is good.
Better try something else. Mine really works.
You'd better try something else, like Selsun Blue. Doctors recommend it more than all leading brands. Selsun Blue, doctor recommended #1.
Save right now. Buy 3 Goodyear tires at the regular price, get the 4th tire free. That's right. Buy any 3 of these Goodyear tires at the regular price and get the 4th free. 4 for 3 now. Hurry, savings end soon.
And now for some thin, different.
New Domino's Thin Crust Pizza. A crispy, crunchy crust pizza. It's a whole nother taste in a whole nother way. All right. Put that snap back in your life and always get something for nothing when you call Domino's.
Relive the year's most exciting moments on the men's, ladies, and senior tours. Join Jack Nicklaus for the Best of Golf 1993 tomorrow on ABC.
You see snow on the mountains here, the Wasatch Range, Provo Peak, which is about 11,000 feet, and Mount Timpanogos a little bit north of here. But it's a beautiful day. It's in the 70s, as you can tell, not a cloud in the sky. Kickoff temperature of 68 degrees. Magnificent here at about 4,600 feet. First down, Jamal Willis breaks through an opening and is into the secondary and inside the 30. BYU starting with excellent field position after Boardman's punt went out on the 2 and Fresno State could gain only 1 yard. Lance Thomas, the free safety, and Sam Watson, the strong safety, stopped Jamal Willis.
Fresno State's coaches said the 3 best plays they run running-wise are the trap, the draw, and the counter right here. This is the counter. Great hole in the middle there. I mean, there's nothing else you can do but run through that hole. Good gang tackling afterwards, but just a great job by Jamal Willis and good blocking up front.
Willis has not had a good year really to this point. His career average over 5 yards a carry. His average this year under 3. He's trying to get outside here. And a good play by Sam Watson, the strong safety number 7, who came in and stuffed the block, and then Tommy Jones, the corner on the right side, was one-on-one with Willis.
Those are the 2 safeties that they're putting up front there on the outsides. Give them a little more stability and speed on the corners for the run. It's interesting, BYU traditionally a passing team, but Fresno State coaches said they were worried about the run. They felt like they had to stop the run before they stopped anything else.
As always, we'll be bringing you up to date and keeping you up to date on everything else that's happening in college football this afternoon. With our sports board and, of course, John Saunders in New York. Ball goes nowhere. Fine penetration by Demetrius Edwards, number 93, the nose guard, and 54, Brad Bell. For the second play in a row, BYU will lose yardage on the run.
Right now, you'll see BYU in an obvious passing situation. And the one thing that they felt was the most dangerous in this situation was Eric Drage, if he lined up in the slot formation, because he runs option routes, meaning that he just goes where somebody isn't and just gets open.
Well, they'll maybe look for him here on 3rd and 15 from the 33 of Fresno State, and flags will fly as I believe the Cougars are offsides and play will be stopped. Gene Wirtz, longtime referee, leading the group of officials of the WAC conference here today.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So now it'll be 3rd down and 20.
See, these are the obvious passing situations. Eric Drage, actually a guy who's so solid for BYU in many areas. You won't be able to see it here, but he commits the false start on the left side of the screen as a wide receiver. Just mental errors that you can't have as a football team. They drive head coaches crazy.
Tyler Anderson and Drage, the 2 wideouts, on 3rd and 20. Clements has time. And Drage wide open and down near the marker with what may be a first down. Tommy Jones, number 4, was driven deep and really gave Drage a lot of room.
Well, in that situation there, Fresno State, they're in a 3-deep coverage and they're trying to play zones underneath. The problem is the corner, Rio Wells at the top, he doesn't cushion enough. You're going to see him right here. He's supposed to get a jam like that and drop off in the zone, but he's got to back off a little bit and hold that off, and the safety doesn't get over there. There's Tommy Jones, number 4. He's not even over there. Good recognition by Clements and a great throw.
They needed 20. They got about 20 and a half, officially 21. And what a career Eric Drage has had. First down, about the 21. Jamal Willis. And again, no room inside. Fresno State doing an outstanding job in the middle, led by Papazian and Demetrius Edwards. Also in there, Darren Preisendorf, number 97.
Rockwell also in on that side. He's coming back, had a neck injury in the beginning of the season. It bothered him quite a bit. And that's the wrong position, Steve, to have a neck injury at that right end. Or any defensive end position.
You can see the Cougars 20 of 25 scoring inside the 20. The shotgun now on 2nd down. And a fake play as the snap goes to Hall, and he dropped it. Clements was walking toward the sideline, And they snapped the ball to Hall. I don't know whether that was a broken play or by design.
Oh, no, that was by design. You saw Marvin Graves do it a couple weeks ago. He pretends to be talking to the wide receiver like there's a problem. There's no problem. They're going to snap the ball to the up back right there. The problem is that they mishandled the snap. And they had the room up front. They had the hole up front.
By the time Hall picked it up, Papazian was right in his face. Now it's 3rd and 12.
Well, Edwards, he's got some tricks up his sleeves, huh?
The ball at the Fresno State 18. Clemens firing it out for Bryce Doman, and incomplete at the 5. Tommy Jones, number 4, again on the coverage. It'll be 4th down, and the kicking unit comes on.
I'm surprised at the start BYU is getting off to here. Because this is the fake play before. That's just a fake audible there. He knows what's happening all the way.
Unfortunately for BYU, Kalen Hall mishandled the snap. So now Joe Herrick, a senior from just up the road in Orem, Utah, will attempt a 35-yard field goal. 40 yards his longest. He's 5 of 8 overall on the year. Tim Nowatzki, the holder. And it is good. So with 6 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the first quarter, BYU on a 35-yard field goal leads Fresno State 3-0. CFA football here on ABC Sports, being brought to you on this glorious afternoon by American Honda, who has been making quality cars in America for the past 10 years. By Delta Airlines, with 290 flights a week, nobody gives you more Europe than Delta. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by UPS, the package delivery company more companies count on. Steve Zabriskie and Ron Pitts with you from Provo, Utah, where BYU has taken a 3-0 lead here in the first quarter, and the Cougars have now scored in a record 231 straight games. That's an NCAA record. It leads the nation currently. If you look at David Dunn back deep to receive, the overall record UCLA has at 246. Joe Herrick will kick it off to David Dunn. And about 10 yards deep. David says no thanks. So the touchback will put it at the 20.
You know, what I see is both teams kind of hesitant a little bit, a little jittery. I think BYU, for good reason, the last couple outings haven't been real good. And Fresno State, they're coming in here, and I think in the back of their minds, they're really not sure if they can play with this football team. But you're going to see here right now, this series, I think, will be the difference in how the game goes. I think the nervousness is out, and people are ready to play football now.
Yeah, in their first possession, they were backed up at their own 2-yard line. Now they start from the 20 with Dilfer at quarterback. Play action. Dilfer with time. Incomplete. Intended for Charlie Jones over the middle, but he led him a little too far. It'll be 2nd and 10.
He had Jones all the way. Jones runs a 4-3. He can get some separation from you, if you know what I mean. The one criticism they had of Dilfer, and I'm talking about the BYU coaching staff, is that he stares where he's going to go. Right here, Mitchell on Lee Harris. A little push in the back. That is illegal. But hey, I'm a former DB. If you can get away with it, do it.
You need all the help you can get. 3 wideouts in the game, and 2 of them to the right on 2nd down. But Rivers gets a handoff and goes nowhere. Lenny Gomes, the nose guard, right there to meet him. Gomes, a senior out of Santa Rosa, California. Travis Hall, number 56, also in on the stop. And there's Lenny. Lenny had his work cut out for him the last 2 weeks against UCLA and
he sure did.
Notre Dame. Well, you talk about tough places to play. BYU has been one of the toughest places to play over the last decade of any place in the country, and it's no coincidence that Miami and Nebraska also hold one of the best records either home or away in the country over the last 10 years. 3rd and 9. Dilfer apparently checking off at the line of scrimmage. And whistle stopping play Even though Dilfer was thrown to the ground by Randy Brock, I don't think that the players could hear it. Now they got a fight going on upfield. Just broken up. David Dunn and Malcolm Sebron of the Bulldogs having a little altercation with a couple of DBs. And the penalty against Fresno State that stopped play really upon the snap. That's why they negated the play, but the player's having a hard time hearing the whistle.
Yeah, and Dilfer's trying to do a lot of audibling right there. You know, he's looking at the sideline a long time, trying to get instructions, and he's going to get to the line of scrimmage and try to check out of it. The only thing about that is you got to be on time.
Third down and about 14. Incomplete again. Dilfer trying to hit Charlie Jones over the middle one more time. Vic Tarleton, a senior out of Sacramento, had the coverage for the Cougars, and Fresno State will have to punt it again.
Now that's 2 in a row, and they're getting what they want. According to what Fresno State coaches told us, they got some man-to-man coverage against some pretty good receivers. It looks right there that Dilfer had a miscommunication with the receiver on what route to run.
Derek Mahoney to punt, and Mike Johnston back for BYU. Johnston at the 44. Flags down, and they're going to have an illegal block.
They're going to have a clip right there. Nowatzki clipped A.J. Gass, hit him in the back.
Emilio Botello, number 53, the man who snapped the ball, made the tackle on Johnston. A 40-yard punt. But BYU, having good field position here in the first quarter, will give some of it back, I believe, on this penalty. Here's Gene Wirtz. Illegal block.
And you know, Steve, that's not surprising. BYU penalized 120 yards in the last 3 games.
And Lavelle Edwards, that's not really his forte as far as his team.
Block in the back against a return team. 10-yard penalty. Spotted the foul. It's a first down this way. Timeout.
In Lavelle's 22 years here at the helm, he's had tremendous success. And there you can see one official saying it was okay and another one throwing the flag. We'll be back. One of the most beautiful campuses you will see here, nestled right up against the Wasatch Front. And you couldn't ask for a better day or the prospect of a better game. If these two teams get it cranked up, we could have some fun this afternoon. BYU up by 3, 1st and 10 at their own 35. Kalen Hall banging straight ahead for short yardage. Hit first by Steve Crombie, number 43, one of the linebackers. Well, tomorrow night, right here on ABC, it all starts with America's Funniest Hour, featuring the kids from Home Improvement on America's Funniest People, and then Lois and Clark go undercover on the new adventures of Superman. And from America's master storytellers, Sidney Sheldon, Lori Loughlin, and Perry King star in Stranger in the Mirror, all tomorrow right here on ABC.
Seeing a lot of triple formation, 3 wideouts on one side for BYU. They're trying to spread that defense out.
Clemens on 2nd and 9, throws incomplete. Intended for Eric Grage. He was covered by Rio Wells, number 22.
You know, if it seems like BYU is starting slow or starting in a set pattern, it's because they are. Norm Chow, the quarterback and wide receiver coach, what they do is they script their first 10 plays because they want to see how the defense is going to line up. And then from that point on, they have a computer, which I'll tell you about a little later on in the press box, which they can get tendencies from on the best running plays or passing plays for that particular defensive formation.
They have a very sophisticated offensive attack. 3rd and 9, Clemens goes to the shotgun. All day to throw, incomplete, intended for Grage. BYU fans wanting a flag, but Tommy Jones got a hand in there, apparently without interference.
Willie Robinson, the defensive coordinator for Fresno State, he felt that their DBs could cover with anybody. Tommy Jones, a 4'4" guy, good quickness, not real big, but the corners don't have to be big. All they got to do is cover. Staying step for step with Eric Drage, boy, that's got to get some recognition, wouldn't you think?
Yep, he can get open. Alan Boardman who had a 61-yarder out on the 2-yard line to open his punting, will kick it to Malcolm Seabraun, number 81. Seabraun back at the 25. Another good one from Boardman. Seabraun driven back to about the 13.
Seabraun's dangerous.
Hooking his way. He fumbles the football. And it looks like BYU has it. And a penalty flag thrown immediately. Andrew Nash, number 92, made the big hit on Seabraun. But the flag went down just about the same time the ball was recovered. It looked like Rob Morris, number 39, got the ball.
One thing we talked about was not making the big mistakes in special teams, giving up the football turnovers. Seabraun's trying to make yardage. He just gets hit. He's not holding the ball securely in traffic, and he gets hit. Does a good job of catching, trying to make something happen here. You're going to see someone come in from the outside and strip the football, pull down. They're taught to tackle the football nowadays. That's not an accident. They spend time working on stripping the football and tackling at the same time.
What you may have seen right at the end of that play may have been deemed a late hit because the flag was thrown right at that point, and it is a personal foul against BYU, marked off after the play back to the 47 of Fresno State, where the Cougars will have first down.
That goes again what I was saying earlier. BYU penalized an average of 120 yards per game the last 3 games.
Again, however, BYU with good field position. Play action and a reverse to Tyler Anderson. Anderson trying to get outside. He cannot because of a fine play by Omar Stoutmeyer, the freshman from Long Beach, who has come on strong for the Bulldogs defense. He would not be blocked, and he would not let the fastest player on BYU's team, Tyler Anderson, get away.
Yeah, and you know, Drage right there, he had an opportunity to clip him, but he held off. Smart football play by Eric Drage. Don't take the chance of making a dumb penalty right now. You know, take the loss in yardage and line up and do it again. Good heads-up play. That's the kind of heads-up football that a lot of pro scouts look for.
The loss back to midfield makes it 2nd and 13. They pick up a little bit of a blitz, and underneath it's Jamal Willis out to the 40 for a gain of about 10. He'll be 3 yards short of the first down. Tackled by 52 Chris Peters and 7 strong safety Sam Watson.
One thing Roger Frentz, the offensive coordinator for BYU, wants to do is get the backs out into the hook areas, the underneath areas right there. You see the linebackers deep. They have to respect the pass from the receivers first. They can kill you with that all day long. Remember the 49ers, they made a living off doing that, and really they still do.
Third down and 3 at the Fresno State 40. Clements sends his backs out into the pattern as well and fires it low. Is it a catch? Yes. Eric Drage with those marvelous hands has a first down, and again Tommy Jones had to cover it.
You can't say enough about Eric Drage. Number 1 in career yards receiving, number 1 in career TDs. He's averaged a catch for every 35 games. The last 35 games he's played, he's caught a football. He's definitely their money man. They nicknamed him Eric Money Drage. He just runs a little out. There's nobody in the flat. Fresno State is going to say, hey, you guys beat us underneath. Okay, we're not going to give you anything deep. We're not going to give you anything in the big play fashion. And Drake will take them underneath all day long.
From the 34 of Fresno State. Matsusaki in motion with a handoff to Kalen Hall. And he gains only a couple, tackled by Brad Bell and Ron Papazian. Hey, a reminder that next Saturday here on ABC Sports, you'll have a college football regional doubleheader, and it's live at 9 a.m. Pacific. Most of you will see the number 2 team in the country, currently unbeaten Notre Dame, take on Navy. And then in game 2, it's a Big 8 battle. That goes undefeated Nebraska against Colorado, or in the West, it'll be USC and Cal. Check for the game in your area and the games that may be available as well. Pay-per-view with your local cable company. That's next Saturday here on ABC Sports. Well, BYU got a little preliminary movement along the line. Number 68, the left guard Jim Edwards, was getting ready to pull prematurely. That is the 4th penalty against the Cougars for a total of 35 yards, and we're still in the first quarter.
You know, I had a long talk with Jethro Franklin, defensive line coach for Fresno State last night. He felt their 2 guards, Edwards and Pilgrim, were the best ones he's seen in a long time. And they felt like they had to get by those people to have some success right there. Just a mental error, not knowing the count, not hearing the count.
Now it's second and about 13. And Hall gets a reception as Clemens just did get it away. Watson on the tackle, but a penalty flag thrown in the BYU backfield. Papazian on the blitz, as you can see, was all over Clemens. And they're still talking.
Papazian's one of those real scrappers. He's a football player. He'll get after you. I don't think Clemens took too kindly to the fact that he rolled over in his head after the play.
Well, they've been bringing somebody on almost every play. That time it was Papazian. The illegal procedure again against BYU.
Papazian coming off the corner there. They left 2 inside linebackers at home and brought the right linebacker, or the left linebacker, excuse me.
Illegal procedure against the offensive team. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
So Fresno State elects to keep it at 3rd and long because there was such a short gain on the pass to Hall. It'll be 3rd and about 9.5 yards to go. The ball just outside the 33 of Fresno State. And you can see the big difference in sacks allowed and sacks created by BYU. They have had a lot of trouble protecting their quarterbacks this year. Clemens under pressure from Papazian again. Down the sideline and out of bounds prior to getting the first down. Chris Rockwell, number 98, made sure that he could not get to the marker.
They're getting real good perimeter pressure. You can see the normal time to throw a football in any league is about 3.2 seconds, but I don't think Clemens had that. He's on the hoof. Rockwell in pursuit. It's been a frustrating starting few series here for BYU.
On 4th down, Joe Herrick is going to attempt a field goal. This will be a 47-yard attempt. His longest so far this year has been 40. He had a 35-yarder earlier in the game. It appears to be off of the bar.
The bars actually hit the upright and the crossbar.
So just a tad short. 49 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Still BYU 3, Fresno State nothing, and the Bulldogs will take over with their best field position. Here's the kick again.
Eric did a lot of kicking yesterday in practice, and I wonder, did he kick his leg out?
Let's check in with John Saunders.
Alabama facing Ole Miss. You know, Alabama coming off the tie to Tennessee. Lawrence Adams goes 21 yards to Eddie Small. He hung on long enough. 7-0 is that lead. Back to you.
Clock running with now 29 seconds remaining in the quarter. Short yardage on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8 from the 31.
Dilfer's going to have to settle down. He's got some people open. He's just got to stand back there and hit them like he's been hitting them.
Ron Rivers trying to pick his way through a hole. Lenny Gomes, the nose guard, grabbed a hold of him as he went by. I'll tell you what's amazing about these two running backs, both Daigle and Rivers, when we come back. That's the end of the first quarter, 3-0. No question who she's rooting for. She's smudged the Y a little bit, but that's to be expected.
It's readable. Not quite as big as a Y up there on the hill, but
no. About 66,000, including Cosmo Cougar on hand, and he's found another young fan. But a little different ball game than we anticipated. A low-scoring affair, 3-0. As we start the second quarter. Dilfer completing a pass to Titus Winus. And here are the first quarter stats.
I think most unusual here is a passing yard for Fresno State, -3, but BYU has held on to the football.
First down from the 44, Ron Rivers. Or from the 46, rather. And Rivers will barely make it back to the line of scrimmage. Travis Hall, 56, and Ted Dawson, 47, bringing him down. It'll be 2nd and 10, and maybe even a loss of a half a yard.
It's no doubt BYU knew exactly what they had to stop and who they had to stop as far as this running game is concerned. And Sweeney, he knows that too. That's why I think you're going to see more passing right now. Up front, he had a lot of compliments about BYU's front line. Hall, Pitts, Gomes, and Brock, some big kids that can run and they play very physical. Last week against Notre Dame was not a fair representation of their athletic ability.
Jim Sweeney in his 16th year at Fresno State. Dilfer on 2nd down and completes it to Malcolm Sebron. Sebron inside the 10. He will score. Touchdown. Lee Harris with a fine block downfield to spring Malcolm Sebron for the touchdown. As Vic Tarleton, number 10, had the coverage, and those guys go back to high school in Sacramento.
Those guys locked up horns together back in Sacramento, and now they're doing it again. Sebron proven why he's one of the leaders in the nation in average per catch. Can't see it here, but on the left side of the screen, they're in a 2 deep, meaning 2 safeties. He just splits in between the zone. You can see that ball's right there. There's nobody there yet. Tarleton, he's the first man to show up, gets a good block, and it's touchdown. It doesn't really get any easier than that.
Derek Mahoney on to attempt the extra point. And it is good. The Bulldogs strike early in the second quarter to take the lead. 14:03 remaining in the first half. A 55-yard touchdown pass from Dilfer to Sebron at 7-3 Fresno State.
The Bears' defense is one of the league's best. The Vikings have a rejuvenated Jim McMahon. It's a Soldier Field showdown on ABC's Monday Night Football.
The problem here is BYU voids a slot zone, the zone in between the hash marks and the numbers. Really, all Sebron had to do is stand up and catch the football. That's a coverage bust in the backfield for BYU.
That culminated a 5-play, 71-yard drive that took less than a minute. So Derek Mahoney will kick it off. Tyler Anderson and Steve Christensen are back. And did he take it out of bounds? Yes, Christensen took it out of bounds, not inbounds, which would not have been a smart play. So a flag goes down. As the kick going out of bounds, the option will rest with BYU. And Christensen caught that ball inbounds and stepped out on a 3. That would not have been a smart play.
Kick out of bounds, gets team.
You know, Steve, that was real close to being disastrous field position-wise.
Alabama and Ole Miss in a very tight and surprising game early. Virginia, North Carolina, also on ABC, as is Michigan, Illinois, tied in the second. Ohio State big over Purdue in the fourth. And Oregon leading Washington 3-0 in the second quarter. Michigan State beat Iowa today. BYU takes the ball at the 35, first down. Runs on play action. Has it tipped and almost intercepted. Tipped at the line of scrimmage. T.C. Wolfgram, number 44, making the play.
Those kind of things frustrate offense coordinators. You got everything worked out. You got your open man. And then some guy in the line tips the ball. Here's what happens when big plays get a hold of you. 5 plays, 71 yards. Doesn't take much time off the clock. That's the one good thing for BYU.
Clemens has completed only 4 of 10 for 42 yards. 2nd and 10. Kalen Hall trying to get outside. Penalty flag down at the 40. As Hall is run out of bounds at about the 43 by Omar Stoutmeyer, number 18, and number 19, James Burton.
You see the safeties they bringing up on the corners now in that 44. Doing a good job of running laterally down the line, stringing things out.
Holding, the preliminary indication against BYU. So penalties continue to plague Lavelle Edwards and his Cougars, as they will be moved back again with the conference going on with the Bulldog. Here's Gene Wirtz.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Spot a foul. Second down.
You know, Steve, this is about the time of the game when their script is over with for BYU, and they're going to run their set plays now. They have an idea of what the problem is and how to defend it. Burton here, one of the top corners in the nation, definitely a first-round pick. That's what the scouts say, but right there, they say that's a holding on Dillman. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Burton moves the ball back to the 30. Second and long, incomplete, intended for Tyler Anderson, who is covered by Tommy Jones, number 4.
Boy, and if he would have seen Drage, he had him open down the sidelines for a big one. And Drage was upset about it, too. They ran a good crossing route, got him confused. The corner lost his balance, and Drage was just waving his hand for a few seconds.
But that's going to be third down, about 15. A reminder that at the conclusion of today's game, we'll be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. And for the 23rd year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Bryce Doman, 83, in at wide receiver. Clemens rolling. Has a lot of room. Up to the 40, to the 42, short of the first down. Run out of bounds by Rio Wells, 22, and 7, Sam Watson. It's going to be fourth.
Rio Wells, number 22, he's a corner. Doman put a real good isolation block on him. That's what Clemens sees coming around the corner, so he just takes off and runs with it. By the time Rio Wells comes off, it's too late. Clemens got his yards, but not enough.
So freshman Alan Boardman will come on to punt it away on 4th and 3, and Charlie Jones back at the 20 for Fresno State. Been more defense in this game already than we thought we'd see. 7-3, Fresno State leading in the second quarter. Boardman high, fairly short. Jones going to let it bounce at the 20, picks it up at the 12, and he'll be down at the 14. Charlie's got to come up and catch that ball on the fly. A 47-yard punt. 12:54 remaining in the second quarter. We'll be back. Last week, BYU quarterback Tom Young completed this 4th down TD pass in much the same style as that of a previous BYU quarterback. That, of course, would be Tom's older brother, Steve Young. Young set 14 NCAA passing and total offense records and led the Cougars to 3 consecutive WAC conference championships. And that's one reason why a lot of BYU fans are rooting for Tom Young at the start. They hope that he could perhaps recapture those days that his brother brought to this school, or at least helped bring to it. First down, Fresno State. Trent Dilfer flipping it out of the backfield to Daigle, and Daigle with a fine move to get extra yardage. He's out to about the 32, knocked down by Corey Cook, number 17.
LaBelle told us yesterday they thought they had to stop the run, but they also had to stop Daigle. He was kind of the sleeper in the whole thing. Third leading receiver on the team, second in rushing.
Gain of 17. BYU's defense has lost their leading tackler, Todd Herget, the linebacker, to injury.
He came with a play action, lag draw play action. Daigle's wide open. Now this is where he's best, Steve, right after the catch.
First down at the 31. Don Rivers breaks a tackle. Flag goes down as Rivers is stopped at the 36 by Lenny Gomes, the nose guard, and yet another penalty in the game. Todd Herget had a stinger on his shoulder and it re-injured it. He will not return.
You know, that's a blow to those guys because he's their leading tackler.
When you're facing an offense like this,
yeah,
you need all the help you can get.
He leads in fumbles caused, a walk-on.
Holding. Offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Well, this time it's against Fresno State.
You know, that stinger, Steve, you know what that's about. You hit that shoulder wrong, and those nerves get numbed up there, and your whole arm goes limp, and you feel like it's just a stinging sensation all over your arm. And it's very painful.
That moves the ball back to the 21 as Fresno State picks up a penalty. First down 20. Dilfer, Charlie Jones incomplete. Threw a little behind him. Patrick Mitchell, number 30, had the coverage on Charlie Jones. Dilfer has been bothered by sore shoulders this year. He went down hard on one, and then he injured the other one. So he's really about 95%. The initial injury to his non-throwing shoulder, his left shoulder. Then he got his right shoulder banged up.
But you know, even if he hurts that non-throwing shoulder, it has a lot to do with your motion throwing and your balance and body position and keeping your shoulders pointed downfield. So that can be giving him as much trouble as a throwing shoulder. But that ball right there should have been caught by Jones for sure.
Second and 20. Locked it over the big one. Seabron has it. Mitchell chasing him, and Malcolm Seabron will go all the way again, but a penalty flag is back behind the line of scrimmage.
That is so bread and butter Dilfer, and he's already called it as a hold back upfield.
A 79-yard play that will be negated by a holding penalty against Fresno State.
Holding. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
Seabron in the slot right here. He's double covered by Christensen. I'm sorry, he's at the top of the screen. He's man on man with Mitchell. He just outruns Mitchell. Every scout I've talked to said Seabron is a #1 pick, a top draft choice. Somebody who's definitely got all the qualities and all the skills of a big. Reminds you of an Ellard, former receiver from Fresno State. That kind of deceptive speed downfield. And there was the hold right there on 56. Collins.
Ron Collins.
Well, I've seen worse holding than that, but they got him. And anytime you stretch that jersey like that with that man's arm up in the air, they're going to get you.
Well, plus you're out there in the middle of nowhere. You don't have your other linemen around. You get in among those 300-pounders, you can hide some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's the way it happens.
Dilfer is 4 of 7 for 82 yards and 1 touchdown. The 79-yarder called back. 11:55 to go in the second quarter. Second down, about a half a mile to go, and Dilfer flies a floater up there. Pass interference is going to be called on Vic Tarleton as Titus Winans tried to come back for the ball.
If they call interference on Tarleton, it's because he didn't play the football. He never turned around, and it looked like he attempted to face guard. I can't believe the air, first of all, that Dilfer put under that ball.
That was like a punt.
It was like eye level with us, and we're, up here by the Y almost.
Well, Gene Wirtz has been busy.
Pass interference. Defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Tarleton stays good man-to-man position with Winans. He turns, he's running, he's in his hip pocket. Right where he wants people. Watch, he doesn't turn. And now look at his hands. They're keeping his hands from going up right there. That's called impeding the receiver's ability to catch the football. Interference, in other words.
Well, that brings some of that yardage back. It's now first down on the pass interference, and a new set of downs and a new 10 yards from the 21 of Fresno State. So a big play, not so much in yardage, but to get a new set of downs back and get out of 3rd and a half a mile. Not much up the middle.
But it's interesting, Steve. They changed that rule to marking it off from the line of scrimmage instead of the point where the interference occurred my senior year in college, and I like to think I had something to do with that.
Did you get a few penalties? Hey, reminder, tomorrow at 2 Pacific and 1 Mountain Time, John Daly, Tom Kite, Davis Love, and Fuzzy Zeller tee off on the final 9 holes of a one-of-a-kind golf event, the Chrysler America Great 18. And then join legend Jack Nicklaus as we relive this year's greatest moments in golf. That's tomorrow here on ABC. Dilfer rolling away, putting it up. Winans again, and this time he has it, but he's out of bounds. And he dropped the football. Dilfer's had pressure from Randy Brock, number 97, as he got it away, and almost a great catch by Winans.
Brock 6'6", 250. He comes around the corner and just levels Dilfer just as he gets it up. And this is how you hurt your arm right here. That arm is extended, and luckily he was turned around. But that's still a lot of weight on you. Tarleton, he's in trouble again. He stopped his feet, and actually that should have been interference because he made contact with him as he was going upfield. But he's there when he needs to be and gets a hand up and stops the play. Good play by Tarleton.
Now it is 3rd and 6 from the 25. Complete. David Dunn with a first down as he's out to the 39, tripped up by Corey Cook. David Dunn, a junior from San Diego.
In practice the other day, we saw a lot of double coverage on the outside guys. That means the inside people will be man-to-man. Corey Cook that time doing a good job, I thought, because the route was a very good route, a cue out and cue back in. A hard route to keep up with. He makes a good open field tackle.
Gain of 14. First down. Fresno State at their own 39. Dilfer apparently changing the play again.
We better hurry up.
Complete to Rivers. Rivers slips away from Cook, slips away from another tackler, and finally is knocked down by Greg Pitts. Came all the way from defensive tackle. Ron Rivers can make a lot of people miss. First down.
I think Fresno State's taking a page out of BYU's book. They're just giving them what they'll take, you know, or taking what the defense will give them. That way they bring a linebacker haul, and the flat is open. Spin move right there, another spin move, or just a plain juke move. It's interesting, Rivers wrestles in the offseason to keep his stamina and strength up. So it helps him break tackles.
He credits that to making him a better football player. Gain of 13. First and 10 at the 49 of BYU, and Rivers on the run again. Another first down as he bangs down to about the 38 or 37 in the grasp of Frank Christensen, the strong safety.
Well, I tried to talk to him before practice yesterday, and he walked right by me. I could tell by the look in his eyes. I said, I think I'll wait until later.
Boy, he had his game face on early.
He's very focused young man, very intent on what he's got to do. No messing around whatsoever. And the whole team was like that yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Rivers gained 11 for the first down. Anthony Dago in a tailback now. 3 wideouts in the game on first down. Play action. Dilfer over the middle and incomplete. Flags down again as Winans was grabbed by Patrick Mitchell. And they're going to call Mitchell for interference again.
That's a bad call.
I don't know. You know, if the ball is not catchable, it can't be interference, and it looked to be too tall. Right there, you're looking at Tom Ramage, and there's Lavelle Edwards. Tom Ramage is the defensive line coach. He was upset. Lavelle hardly ever shows any emotion. Now they're going to wave it off.
Interference was called. It was a non-catchable ball, so there is no foul.
Yes, there is help for a DB that gets in trouble, I guess.
Well, they get
That's
the play right.
Call.
That's the main thing.
That's a bad call.
Right.
Right here, he's breaking on the football. The ball is, first of all, overthrown, but the contact isn't made until afterwards. You know, you get a couple penalties called on you, and I think the referees start to get into a habit of wanting to call penalties on you.
Second and 10. Rivers back in the game, but he will go nowhere. Lenny Gomes was there. Corey Cook was there. 49 Nathan Hall was there.
You look at BYU's linebackers minus Hergen. They still got some people like Hall that can run.
Look at Ole Miss leading Alabama still.
They're running too.
Man.
And what they're doing, they're rushing the linebackers on the blitz, and that's causing the man-to-man situation a lot in the secondary. And that's why we're seeing the interference type situations come up more than ever.
Loss of 2. It is 3rd and 12 at the BYU 39. Dilfer completes it to Malcolm Sebron, and it may be just enough for the first down at the 26. Vic Tarleton again had the coverage. He and Sebron going at it on almost every play. First down, Fresno State.
Jim Tedford, the offensive coordinator for Fresno State, said, Ron, you know, the thing I would like to do is run it just enough to set up the pass, because Dilfer is our guy. We've got Rivers and we've got Daigle, and they do a lot on the ground, but if we can get the big plays with Dilfer, that'll be the man. That'll be the way we can have some success in this football game.
Ron Rivers. He was missed in the backfield by Shea Muirbrook, number 46, but Muirbrook broke up the play, and Frank Christensen, 35, along with Corey Cook, made the tackle. Well, we want to pause for a moment here to send, on behalf, rather, of all of us at ABC Sports, our sincerest and heartfelt feelings to the family of Joe Assetti. Joe Assetti, a longtime colleague, former ABC Sports director, on the death of his daughter, his 22-year-old daughter. And to the Assetti family from ABC Sports, our deepest condolences and sympathies on this tragedy. Dilfer again for Winans, incomplete. No flags this time at the 5-yard line. Patrick Mitchell again had the coverage. So some interesting matchups with Winans and Mitchell, and Tarleton going against Sebron.
Good job by Mitchell that time. Yeah, he leads the team in passes broken up, got 7. Broken up a couple of last 2 plays. Once again, BYU bringing a lot of pressure on Dilfer. He's got to get rid of it quick. That's why you see so much quick inside stuff, because there's nobody inside to help the corners. It's tough coverage back there.
Well, Fresno State eating up the clock. This is the 14th play of this drive. The ball at the 22 of BYU. On 3rd down. Dilfer to the end zone, touchdown. Charlie Jones got a step on Frank Christensen, and Dilfer is picking BYU's secondary apart for the most part.
That's a bad matchup, and they wanted that. The Fresno coaches wanted that. Tedford talked about that. Getting that matchup when you blitz, that's the danger you have, is getting a strong safety, a slower strong safety. I'm not saying Christensen in this case is that, but it's just not the matchup personnel you want. Sebron just goes to the corner. He outruns Christensen. It's nothing, or Jones rather.
Mahoney for the extra point right through the middle. 7:39 left in the second quarter, but a penalty flag on the extra point. So we'll hold it. It's only appropriate, I guess, that we have a penalty on the extra point. BYU offsides, and that should be assessed on the kickoff.
Offside against the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty assessed on a kickoff. Point is good.
Gene Wirtz getting almost as much airtime as we are here today, as we have a penalty on every other play. But Fresno State leading 14-3.
It's good body positioning by 35 Christensen, but the problem is that Jones runs a 4.3. And that's the bad matchup we talked about, Steve. I don't know how many people realize how fast a 4.340 is. That's like track speed.
That's getting up there into world-class sprinting speed. Tyler Anderson and Steve Christensen back to receive the kickoff of Derek Mahoney. And while Fresno State has not exactly run the football down BYU's throat, they have passed effectively enough to lead 14-3. Christensen lets it go through the end zone for the touchback. BYU will have it at the 20. It's time once again for our Coors Light Fan Picks College Football Poll. All you have to do is call 800-932-3000 to vote. And again this week, Florida State remains on top of the Coors Light Fan Poll. So if you want to call and vote, do so. Well, a cheer going up from the crowd here in Provo as Tom Young, number 14, is into the game at quarterback for the Cougars. Young, a junior out of Greenwich, Connecticut, and he is, of course, the younger brother of San Francisco 49ers Steve Young. Kalen Hall on the carry for a yard is all, wrapped up by 98 Chris Rockwell.
I mentioned earlier Norm Chow, quarterback and wide receiver coach for BYU. What they'll do is they'll use their computer up there in the press box, the defensive tendencies computer. And now, after they've established a couple of series of what the defense is going to show them, they'll type into that computer offensive formations and plays that they can get the most yardage out of those particular defenses, or the most tendencies given up by the defense.
Well, they better go with something else, because Hall's carried 8 times for a total of 8 yards. Young on play action. Puts it up. Picked off by Sam Watson, and Eric Grage throws him out of bounds. I don't know who he was passing to. There's a penalty flag down, however, near the line of scrimmage. And Watson was the only guy that could have caught that ball.
Grage looked like he didn't complete his break. And the ball was in the air before he'd actually turned around, and Watson just standing there.
Let's see what the infraction might be. If it's an interception and stands, it's Sam Watson's first of the year. Once again, Gene Wirtz, our announcer.
Dead ball. Personal foul against a defensive team. It's a dead ball foul. It's a 15-yard penalty. First down this way.
I think that was the scuffle that occurred on the sideline after Drage had made the tackle and so on and so forth. But, you know, this is a defensive back's dream right here. Drage, 18, he ducks down inside like he's going to block, then releases. Excellent play, smart play. But it's over his head.
All he can do now is go make the tackle.
All he can do is make the tackle. And Watson, Dan Marino threw me one like that, and I tell you, that's your dream.
Well, then you see
he goes back and
Papazian came in, put a knee into Drage, and Drage took exception to it, so they called the penalty on Papazian, apparently. Well, this is a big difference between these two teams. Fresno State's done a great job as far as the turnover ratio is concerned, and BYU has been horrendous.
And one team is on the upswing, and another team is kind of on the downswing.
Good field position on first down after the interception. Ron Rivers banging forward, spinning off the pile for a gain of 3, stopped by Shea Muirbrook. We want to remind you that coming up at halftime on the Prudential Halftime Report, join John Saunders, who will have all the scores and highlights from games action all across the country today, as well as a look at what else is coming up later today in college football. That's the Prudential Halftime Report. And we're 6.5 minutes of playing time away from halftime. Fresno State driving again. They have the ball inside the BYU 35. They lead 14-3. Second down. In and out of the hands of Lee Harris. And that time Tarleton had very good coverage and timed it perfectly. It'll be third down and about 8.
Not too many quarterbacks can make that throw. On that other side of the hash, throwing to the wide side of the football field, and actually had it there on time. Good defensive play by Tarleton.
Trent Dilfer has 8 of 15 so far, passing for 144 yards. And the 14 points are on 2 Dilfer touchdown passes.
See, what they're setting you up for is the out and up, of course. So that's why it's going to be very disciplined and not biting and trying to steal that.
Dilfer apparently checking off on 3rd and 8. And movement along the line, and that will draw BYU offside, I believe. It looked like number 64, Dan Hahn, who is a sophomore.
Dead ball, false start. Offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Dan Hahn at 6'4" and an even 300 pounds out of Hercules, aptly named for a 300-pounder, Hercules, California.
Just got to watch, know the count. That's all you can say, know the count. You don't want to be in defense or offensive meetings on Mondays when that happens, boy. I tell you, they do not take exception to that.
Now, Jim Sweeney will be barking on the film on that one. Now it is 3rd and 13. Block. And they're going to get Dilfer, although he's big and hard to bring down. Greg Pitt's the first one to get to him. Randy Brock also, and Ted Dawson. It'll be 4th and long, and a loss of 9 on the sack of Dilfer.
Nathan Hall and Cook doubled on Daigle. That's where he wanted to go with the football. He pulled it down, tried to look someplace else, but by that time, that front four got to him. We talked about those guys.
Eric Grage is back along with Mike Johnston as Eric Mahoney will punt it away. And Mahoney this distance. He'll try to get it out of the corner. Almost blocked. This takes a fine bounce inside the 10. It's going to be down inside the 5. Excellent job by Derek Mahoney. A punt of 43 yards. And it'll be first down BYU at their 7. Short yardage on first down as Jamal Willis carries for maybe a yard, stopped by Ron Papazian. Willis averaging under 4 yards a carry this year, junior from Las Vegas, and he, along with Kalen Hall, having to pick up the slack of the running backs for BYU because Amy Humuli, who has been their workhorse guy, is out with a broken finger.
Right, and had surgery on that finger to make it worse.
Now is spread him out on third down, or second down rather, and 9. Willis again breaks the tackle, close to a first down as he gets outside the 15. Omar Stoutmeyer and Johnny Johnson make the stop.
See, running the football right now is in Fresno State's favor. We talked about earlier, they have to avoid the big plays, the big BYU pass plays, something that they're very famous for.
Somewhere around 65 to 66,000 on hand here today in this magnificent stadium. They expanded it back in the early 80s, built a tremendous press and broadcast facility here, and it's just, along with the view of the mountains and the foliage turning this time of year, a magnificent setting. First down. Willis again, trying to get outside. He'll get a couple is all. The Bulldogs do a good job of stringing it out with Brad Bell, number 54, the defensive end, and Omar Stoutmeyer making the tackle.
Fresno State should not think that they won't let Young throw that football. One of the reasons he's in there is one thing that Lavelle told us, is that he likes his vision, his mobility as a quarterback. They don't feel he's got the arm, the strong arm that some of the great quarterbacks here have had in the past, but he can see downfield. He sees the things he's supposed to see, and he doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes.
Second down 8. Young's first pass incomplete, intended for Bryce Doman, who is breaking down the near sideline. So it'll be 3rd and 8. We have 3:36 to go in the half.
That's scary because the way Doman's running down the sidelines, if he pump faked it and threw it up top. And that's one thing about these BYU receivers. They can all run, and they're excellent route runners. They're technicians as far as running routes.
Tommy Jones had the coverage, and he was getting a little talking to from the sidelines after the ball was overthrown.
You pretend not to hear it. You say, what'd you say? I can't hear you.
On third down, under pressure, intercepted, picked up by Papazian.
He might score.
Papazian. Did he make it? No, he stepped out of bounds on the 6.
Well, I said he doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes, and he doesn't, but he made one that time.
Papazian's first interception of the year, and Fresno State will have it at the BYU 6.
Papazian's a linebacker on the right side of the screen. He's going to drop back into a zone and play zone. It looks like a miscommunication of where the route was going to go. Young threw one way, receiver went another way. Papazian, come on, man, you got to score. He steps out of bounds. Those guys don't get that too often.
He looks like a linebacker,
oh,
too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a 14-yard return on Papazian's first pick of the year. And Fresno State leading 14-3 has another great opportunity. First and goal. Bagel down to the 4. In the grasp of 46, Shea Muirbrook, a freshman out of Norco, California. Corey Cook, a junior right here in Utah.
Turnovers are no joke. They will kill you. You cannot give that ball up, and you can't score unless you have it, obviously.
Well, the other thing that points out, too, Ron, is that BYU has always had, under Lavelle Edwards, an extremely quarterback-oriented offense, and without the guy that can really come in and take charge, and they're obviously still struggling to find out who that is, they have problems, and it really is glaring today. Dilfer flipping it in the end zone, and he had his fullback, Sal Mexico, wide open for a touchdown, and it went right over Mexico's head.
Problem there is that Hall, number 56, He put his hands up, and that's just enough body in the throwing lane. And I guess so at 6'6", 250. Just enough body in the throwing lane. He had to arc the ball, and he put too much arc on it. Because if he doesn't arc it, he's gonna get it batted down or intercepted. Good play by Hall.
Mexico, a junior from Cerritos, California, doesn't get much play, but he does a fine job of blocking for the two excellent tailbacks. 3rd and goal. And the receiver fell down. It was intended for Davis, or Harris rather, Lee Harris. Patrick Mitchell had the coverage, but Harris slipped in the end zone, never did get to the ball. It's 4th and goal, and they'll go for the field goal.
Harris is just going to run a little in, and he's going to stop real quick, hoping that the defensive back thinks he's going to commit to the end, come back out. But the problem is he slips. And Mitchell had good coverage. He might have intercepted that ball if it was thrown a little bit better.
Derek Mahoney for a 22-yard field goal. He is 10 of 13 this year. This is much like an extra point. He bangs it through. And with 2 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the first half, it's now Fresno State 17 and BYU 3. Turnovers have played a big part in this game. In the beginning of the first quarter, BYU enjoyed the field position. They couldn't do anything with it. The turnovers have given Fresno State field position. They did go on one very long, very impressive drive, but they have the lead 17-3.
Another thing we talked about for BYU's keys to success, they have to stop the big plays. They've had 2 big pass plays already.
And a 55-yarder that was called back.
Right, and they haven't been able to pass effectively on 1st down like they want to, because that will open up the run.
Well, a lot going on the campus of BYU. Let's check out one of the newest additions. Not only a beautiful campus, but a great one with facilities for just about whatever you need. Christensen and Tyler Anderson. And they will not run it out. Christensen downing it. And BYU with 2:38 to go in the half. Mahoney doing a great job of kicking. We'll have it at the 20. And Ron, they need to move the ball and get something going before half right here.
And, you know, the first thing you always think about as an offensive player is that you want to get it all right away, but they've got too much experience. And now, who do we see in the football game?
John Walsh, the injured starting quarterback who had a very sore knee, hardly practiced at all during the week. But Lavelle Edwards apparently so frustrated with what's happened that he's going to let Walsh give it a try, and he hands off to Jamal Willis, who breaks free. Willis out to the 32, and a 1st down, knocked down by Tommy Jones.
They've been able to run the football effectively. The people they got up front, Pilgrim, comes to mind right off the bat because that's the man everybody's talking about, number 70. Their top plays are draws and traps. Right here, a trap. And they get people moved. They get a seam. That's all they need. Good acceleration that time.
Jamal Willis with a gain of 12. 1st down. Willis again. On a power sweep. They'll gain 5 or 6 with 3 lead blockers. 57, Steve Kasner, and 25, Johnny Johnson on the tackle for Fresno State.
Their 2 guards are a terror when they get out on them perimeters running at you. And if you're a DB, it's time to dig a hole or find a new career.
Second down. And 4. Walsh from the shotgun. Lots of time. And Kalen Hall is just blasted by T.C. Wolfgram. But he may have held on and held out for the 1st down.
Yeah, everybody likes the hit and all that, but you know what? He held on to the football. And did you see the way Walsh looked to his primary, went to his secondary, pulled it down a 3rd time, and went back to the back? Watch him. He's going to look to his primary. It's not there. Now he's going to look inside. Now he's going to go right to his back. That's his safety valve, basically.
Well, I don't know how Kalen Hall held on to the ball, but he did. Walsh on 1st down, incomplete. And an excellent defensive play by James Burton, number 19. But he just got a hand on him.
They're not going to throw too much on Burton. He's the top man-to-man player, they say, in the WAC. He runs a 4-3. Good man-to-man coverage guy.
Burton, a senior out of Long Beach. Here's what else is happening in the Western Athletic Conference today. Utah and Colorado State Air Force. There's a bit of a surprise, but they are playing out of the conference against the Citadel, and Wyoming leading Hawaii big, and that's kind of a surprise. So Wyoming, one of those undefeated teams in the WAC. Walsh on the out pattern, and he completes it to the tight end. Terrence Saglione goes all the way down inside Fresno State territory for a first down before Sam Watson corrals him out of bounds. They'll mark it near the 30 of Fresno State.
Been a lot said about the fact BYU hadn't had a tight end in a while, like the ones of old, like the Gordon Hudsons and the Christensen. But Saglione right across the street here, went to high school, making a big play when they need it. Timeout.
A minute 21 left in the half. Fresno State calling the timeout.
Good timeout, too, by Fresno State there. Get their stuff together. BYU now, Walsh comes into the game. He takes them right down the football field.
It's interesting that a lot of people were talking about getting rid of Walsh. They wanted him out of there. They wanted Young in there. Some people wanted Clemens. Most people wanted Young. Clemens gets the start. They don't move. Young comes in. He doesn't look good. And then when Walsh comes in, everybody cheers for the guy that they originally wanted to replace.
Well, you know, that's how fans are. But
well, the most popular guy on any football team is usually the backup quarterback.
The backup quarterback, right.
The least popular guy is whoever's starting.
And I'm surprised, not surprised, but I'm not so sure that Walsh is 100% healthy. If he takes another hit on that leg, he may go down again. And, you know, LaBelle, he's not worried about switching and keeping a revolving door as far as the quarterback's concerned. He'll switch all game long.
They got to do whatever they can do to move the football and get some points on the board. They're down by 14 with 1:21 to go in the half. They have a first down at the 29 after the catch by Saglione. Kalen Hall with a good hole. On the inside handoff off the shotgun, he gets about 5. Just inside the 25. They'll mark it right at the 25 for a gain of 4. Ron Papazian on the stop.
BYU's got to at least get a field goal out of this drive. They can't come away here empty-handed.
They call timeout now with a minute 12 remaining in the half.
You notice how much they're using the backside of the backfield? Right there, Roger French, the offensive coordinator for BYU. He said, Ron, you know, we have a problem with their backs in that on blitzes sometimes they forget to check blitz before they release on the flare. They flare first and then check blitz. So we can just get them to check and then release. Like that last play, two plays ago, the catch to the tight end, they had 5 guys out. And if Fresno State brings 2 linebackers, they've got a serious problem.
Cosmo Cougar trying to fire him up in the end zone, and that's where the BYU fans are trying to help their team get. But it has been a struggle for them offensively today. Fresno State's defensive scheme has frustrated them, but BYU has also been the victim of their own mistakes. Second down 6. Walsh from the shotgun again. Over the middle, completing it to Saglione again. A first down at the 11. They may get in forward progress to the 10. Johnny Johnson, the safety, knocked him back. Walsh has come in and completed 3 of 4.
This is tight end. The one person they need to get in this game they haven't had in a while. Good play, good catch. Takes a hit there. Johnson looks like he had a shoulder problem. He had to leave the field.
Walsh with lots of time. First down, incomplete, intended for Tyler Anderson. But it was knocked away by James Burton. And Anderson took a shot as well. The clock stops with 57 seconds remaining in the half. And it'll be second down. You're seeing the 15.
You're seeing the throw to the tight end because Fresno State is doing what Notre Dame did early in the game last week. They played underneath coverage. They locked up on Anderson and particularly Drake. And then on the outside and the deep thirds, they went zone.
Second and 10. Walsh going to the end zone and incomplete. Steve Christensen was open, covered by Omar Stoutmeyer, the linebacker, but the pass overthrown, and Christensen laid out for it and couldn't get it. 52 seconds remaining, and it's 3rd and 10.
That reminds you a little bit of Elway there, just the way he struts around, and that ball there was, you can't throw it any better, really. Stoutmeyer right here at the top. He's going to drop back in the zone. He doesn't get fooled by the out and up, but you know what? He had to loft it over his head because he was in the throwing lane just enough to make it incomplete.
Walsh with good protection. This one batted down at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. On 3rd and 10, Demetrius Edwards, number 93, a junior out of East Palo Alto, California, knocked the pass down. It's 4th and 10 with 48 seconds remaining in the half, and timeout is called by BYU. They have 1 timeout remaining.
This is always a danger of throwing in that middle hot. You don't always have to sack the quarterback. Just get your body up in the air when you need to.
Boy, Edwards timed that well.
That's as good as a sack right there.
Well, psychologically, John Walsh seems to have lifted BYU. He could complete that if he could help them get into the end zone. On 4th down and 10, they've got a heavy-duty discussion here, Ron, about whether to go for it or attempt a field goal.
You know, Walsh, he's a little bit of an outspoken guy. Most of those quarterbacks, the ones that do a lot of winning anyways, are like that. He's taking this team right down the field. Very poised, very confident. Not shaken whatsoever. The only thing that worries me about him is his health. He takes a hit on that knee.
And so far, they've done a pretty good job of protecting him.
So you know you had a man here. Look at this.
That's his reaction to his pass being batted down.
But you see, he's smiling, though. You know, he's a competitor. He plays this thing to win and to have fun.
Well, they're going to go for it, apparently, as Walsh and the offense are back in on 4th down and 10. BYU is 4 of 8 this season on 4th down conversions. This is the 10th play of the drive with 48 seconds remaining in the half. Drage, does he have it? Yes, they're going to say he does inside the 5 at the 3. 1st down and goal with 43 seconds left.
Drage is the money man all the way down here.
He only needed 1 foot in bounds. He needed 10 yards. He got 12. He just did what he had to do.
They're in that 3 deep coverage, 3 people in the deep parts of the field. Drage just runs a little out. You can see the corner driving on him. He can't get there in time. Ooh.
Oh, man, that was close.
I don't know.
I don't know if he got a toe down or not. Tommy Jones, number 4, again had the coverage, but they gave it to him. BYU had a couple of guys trying to sprint off the field at the last minute, and a flag is thrown. Apparently, they took too much time. It's 1st and goal at the 3. Once again, Gene Wirtz.
Illegal substitute against the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
They couldn't get that last guy off the field.
Now, Steve, we talked about this last night. Willie Robinson, the defense coordinator from Fresno State, he said they illegally substitute in the sense that they leave too many men in the huddle. You are allowed 11 men in the huddle at any one time. If you watch BYU, a lot of times they'll have 11 to 15. They do massive substitutions like that to keep you from substituting your personnel in the field.
They'll run 3 guys in the huddle and wait before the other 3 guys who are replaced leave. Back at the 8, Jamal Willis. And what a play by Burton. And Burton may be shaken up. James Burton came in, tripped up Willis, but is slow in getting up. May have been stepped on. And BYU uses their final timeout of the half, stopping the clock with 37 seconds remaining.
Burton's a guy that can cover you man-to-man. He can come up and hit you. When you see that crack right there, that receiver goes down, you got to come up and replace. He does. Could have done a little bit better job at tackling. He just ducks his shoulder. Might have got his back hurt a little bit.
He's only 5'9", but he weighs 180, the senior out of Long Beach, California. Banging into the 220-pound Jamal Willis. It's going to be 2nd down and goal from the 9. I'll tell you what, Lavelle may be a year or 2 away from retirement. He's talked about it a little bit. But what a career he has had. among the winningest coaches all time, and certainly in the top 10 active coaches. And there's no slouch either. Jim Sweeney with 128 victories in his 16 seasons at Fresno State. He's only lost 49 games. Here's where they are among the active guys. Lavelle is 5th and Jim is 7th. Up among some of the biggest names in coaching.
They like Drage down here and their tight end.
Second goal from the 9. Getting out of the hands of Saluoni, the tight end.
Saluoni's going to be kicking himself for a long time if they don't score here in the next few plays.
34 seconds remaining in the half. No timeouts left for Brigham Young, and 3rd and goal from the 9.
Yeah, there's such thing as a touch on a football. And Walsh fired that one in there, but Saluoni's got to catch that ball.
Saluoni, a sophomore from right here in Provo. This is the 13th play of this drive. Walsh, good protection again. Saluoni too tall. He was even more open that time, and Walsh overthrew him. It's 4th and goal, again at the 9. 30 seconds left in the half.
You go back to that delay of game, and you don't think it really had much to do, but look where the football is. If they would have had an extra 5 yards in that pass play, who knows? They might have scored the last 2 attempts.
Plus, they probably down at the 3-yard line.
They might have run the ball. Right. Those things, they affect you later on. Look at the massive substitutions once again from the sidelines. Saluoni getting some pep right there. And believe me, you need it when you let one go through your fingers like that.
4th down and goal. And whistle stop play upon the snap.
Dead ball. False start. Offense.
Well, another illegal procedure penalty. He'll be back at the 14.
This is bad now, see. They just don't have people tuned in and moving, and Fresno State is confused. I don't know. I didn't see it.
Somebody moved, I guess, prematurely along the line. 4th and goal for the 14. Walsh into the end zone. Touchdown, Kalen Hall. They isolated Kalen Hall on the linebacker, Steve Crombie, and it's a 14-yard touchdown pass on 4th and goal.
That's that matchup they talked about. Norm Child said, I would love to get my backs or one of their backers in a one-on-one. Hall just loops around the backfield. He takes it straight up inside. Look at this ball. It can't be any better because if it's a little bit short, Crombie's going to intercept it.
Joe Herrick for the extra point. It is good. 23 seconds remaining in the half. And BYU back in the game. It's now Fresno State 17 and Brigham Young University 10. John Walsh, the story as he comes in the second half, the 3rd quarterback of the game, and takes the Cougars down the field in the final 2 minutes of the first half for their first touchdown.
John Walsh, well, you gotta like him. He's cocky, does what he wants to do, says a lot of things he probably shouldn't say, but he gets the job done. He's moving the team down the field.
Only a sophomore out of Torrance, California. An 80-yard drive in 15 plays, 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and on the drive, Walsh was 5 of 11 and accounted for 68 yards of the 80 through the air.
And the thing I saw more than anything was the use of the tight end, Saluoni, and the backs coming out of the backfield, and they got the one big play to Drage. If they can hit him once or twice a series, because they're doubling on Drage, I mean, that's no secret. And they better double on him because he'll hurt you.
David Dunn, number 11, back to receive Joe Herrick's kick. And the crowd back in the game with BYU now down by 7. About 5 yards deep, elects not to run it out. So we'll see what Fresno State tries at their own 20 with a first down and 23 seconds left in the first half. leading 17-10. Dilfer's had a pretty good first half. He's under 50% for completions with 8 of 17, but he's thrown for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half so far.
It's a quick inside throw. The back's there. The linebacker's not in position. It's a good throw. Don't underestimate that catch and that throw. That's a hard catch to make.
Well, Dilfer's just going to take a knee. BYU has no timeouts remaining in the half. So they'll let the clock run down with 15 seconds left as they'll run off the field. And it's been a little different than we thought it would be. Not in the fact that Fresno State is leading, but in the fact that we've had only 27 points scored in the first half. 17-10. Fresno State leading BYU at halftime.
You want to be.
Welcome back to Provo, Utah. High flying going on with paratroopers, parachutes, hot air balloons. But there hasn't been as much high flying on the football field as we thought there might be. Fresno State leading BYU 17-10 as we get ready to start the second half. Steve Zabriskie and Ron Pitts with you on a glorious day when the quarterback controversy at BYU has taken a rather unusual turn, Ronnie.
Yeah, and it comes back in with the guy who's probably the most controversial of the three. He's at the helm now, running the whole show.
David Dunn, number 11, back to receive. BYU had won the toss and elected to take the ball to start the game. So Joe Herrick will kick it off. Dunn from the 2. Stepping his way through traffic to about the 23. Knocked down by the kicker, Joe Herrick, and number 33, Scott Merkley.
Well, I tell you, these stats are pretty even except for the turnovers, and that, of course, has hurt BYU. And the thing about it is BYU has held on to the football so much time. They just got to a bad start. They got off to a bad start, and Walsh came in, and he got them right back up to par.
Turnovers have hurt. Inconsistency of the offense with the quarterbacks prior to Walsh is hurt.
Right.
And Fresno State has it, leading by 7 to start the second half. Dilfer completing it to David Dunn. Dunn tackled immediately, short of a first down by Dennis Simmons, number 9, and at linebacker. The gain is to the 29. It'll be second and about 4.
You can't take the athletes lightly in Fresno State either, because pro scouts have told me that outside of Notre Dame, Fresno State has the most pro prospects of any team in the nation right now at 10.
On a delay, Ron Rivers breaking a tackle and very close to a first down near the 33. Corey Cook, number 17, making the tackle in the secondary.
Rivers with the run.
Earlier in the game, I mentioned about Rivers and Daigle. What's amazing is that Daigle has a scoring record at Fresno State. Ron Rivers, the all-time rushing yards leader at Fresno State. And they're splitting time at tailback.
Well, I guess that's your 1-2 punch. Because Rivers, you want to keep Rivers on the ground running it. And Daigle's just so dangerous out in the perimeters when he gets the football.
Dilfer completing it. Malcolm Sebron, a penalty flag is down as Sebron carries it into BYU territory at the 38. But there is a flag back near the line of scrimmage. Frank Christensen finally tripped up Sebron. And we're back to the Gene Wirtz show. Illegal procedure against Fresno State will wipe out another good game.
Gene's arms are going to be sore at the end of the game.
Illegal formation against the offensive team. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Not very often that a referee worries about his voice holding up throughout the entire game. That could be the case today if the penalties keep mounting. The line of scrimmage now to 29. First down and 15. Dilfer looking into a rather low, bright sun, trying to get the message from the sideline. Boy, this guy's for real. 6'5", 235. Tremendous arm, fine poise. He's still a junior. Going on the run, Anthony Daigle with a catch at the 49, or 39 rather. He's about 5 yards short of the first down. Ted Dawson had the coverage. Shows you how Ilford can throw on the run and put some zip on it.
You know, but the only complaint that Fresno State coaches had about him was he stares, but you know, looks a hole in where he's going to throw. But in this kind of action here, it freezes the linebackers. You can see a linebacker right there running for coverage on Daigle. He doesn't get there in time. Just a good job of flooding his zone and rolling out and making things happen.
Second down, 5 after the gain of 10. First down. Mitchell wrestling Titus Winans to the ground. But Fresno State back on the move as they have another first down just outside their own 45, 46.
It's interesting. This quarterback has not thrown an interception since the Oregon State game. He threw 4 in that game. So he's done a good job, even though they throw so much, of keeping the ball out of the opponent's hand.
Now, with all the touchdown passes and yardage he's had, that low number of interceptions is amazing. On a delay to Rivers. Rivers runs by Cook, runs into his own man, and has a first down. Down to the BYU 43.
Yeah, they're back to their bread and butter here. This is what Fresno State wants to do. They've talked about it a lot.
30-yard Simmons, a true freshman, again making the tackle.
This man here is number 1 in the WAC in rushing, number 9 in the country. And Steve, I don't know how many people know about Rivers. I mean, let's face facts. The big deal in the WAC is the guy at San Diego State.
That's right.
Who doesn't have the numbers right now that he has.
No, Rivers is way ahead of Marshall Falk in rushing. Rivers now with 10 carries for 33 yards. And he has it again. This time he won't go far. For the most part, BYU has done a good job defending the run. Travis Hall, 56, makes the stop this time. But now it looks very apparent that Fresno State and Jim Sweeney are saying, we're going to go right back out the start of the second half, and again, we're going to try to establish that running game.
And they're going to take time off that clock, too, because that clock is ticking. And if they don't score, they will have lost some time off the clock. BYU, I'm talking about.
Ilford has thrown that many consecutive now without an interception. It is 2nd and 9.5 to go. Winans, first down, dragging Mitchell. Patrick Mitchell finally threw him out of bounds, but Winans had enough momentum to get past the marker for a first down. Winans, a senior out of Los Angeles.
They're just taking what BYU's defense gives them. They're giving them the underneath stuff. BYU kind of plays the percentages in the secondary anyways, but they'll bring the pressure up front, and there's not a whole lot you can do as a corner, and it's frustrating because people say to you, oh, come on, you know, you got to tighten down, you got to cover them. They think you're not doing your job. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, corners are doing their job.
Charlie Jones, 24 into the game at wideout for Fresno State. First down at the BYU 31. Rivers on a sweep. And he powers down to the 20. He may be close to get another first down. Shea Muirbrook, the freshman in at linebacker, makes the tackle. A gain of 12 and a first down for Rivers.
Tarleton, the corner up on the force that time, he's got to get up in the play sooner. He sat by the numbers and waited.
Well, BYU's got some injuries on defense. T.D. Beagle, who plays running back but also on special teams, has a hamstring. You told you earlier that Todd Hergert, their leading tackler and linebacker, Hergert went out early in the game, and he hasn't been back. At the 20, right at the line of scrimmage. Anthony Daigle brought down very quickly. Corey Cook on the stop.
Cook's a solid open field tackler. We saw him make a play earlier in the first half. A one-on-one situation with a wide receiver. One-on-one tackles are not always pretty, but they do the job. They get the man down.
49, Nathan Hall, senior from Richardson, Texas, also out with an injury for the Cougars defense. On the reverse, Charlie Jones. And he has a couple of blockers out there. Jones down the sideline, but he's out of bounds at the 5. For a moment, it looked like he might sneak in there, but the strong safety, Frank Christensen, bumped him out of bounds. A gain of 16, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs at the 5.
BYU's front four, particularly Gomes and Brock and even Hall on the other side, they pursue so fast down the line and chase things that a reverse is perfect for them because there's no help on the backside. Good lead block right there. Jones, and he almost got it in. I don't think he thought he could really get in, but he could have if he just lowered his shoulder and ran.
Out of the power set, Rivers, touchdown. They went to the full house backfield. And Ron Rivers takes it in, and Fresno State extends their lead to 23-10 with the extra point to come. Now there's an impressive 80-yard drive right off the bat to start the 3rd quarter for Fresno State.
It's no joke when they say guys average 100 yards per game. They usually get it one way or another. If it's not in the first half, they'll get it later on.
And Fresno State has not lost a game when Rivers has rushed for 100 yards.
Yep.
Derek Mahoney on to attempt the extra point, and it's perfect. 10:38 to go in the 3rd quarter. We've got another penalty flag on the extra point. We can't even have an extra point without a penalty. And this is not the first extra point on which we've had a penalty.
Personal foul, roughing a kicker. Assessed on a kickoff. Point's good.
So Mahoney run into.
Gene's starting to lose a little energy there, too. You can see. Maybe we got to send him some water down or something.
That's become an old hat. Fresno State back to a 14-point lead, 24-10. Mount Timpanogos in the background. We'll be back.
Notre Dame's sights are set on #1. They try to sink Navy in a high noon showdown. Plus, other regional action kicks off a doubleheader next Saturday on ABC's College Football.
BYU will get the football for the first time here in the 2nd half, and they could use it. Now they're down by 14 again after an impressive 80-yard drive by Fresno State. And Mahoney takes a very long field goal that he would have gotten credit for. He put it not only out of the end zone, but off of the playing surface on the fly. So the Cougars 1st and 10 from their 20. And it is going to be the injured and limping John Walsh, heavily braced up on that bad knee that Lavelle Edwards will send in at quarterback. He led them to a score in the final minutes of the 1st half. Jamal Willis, the lone setback. Fresno State jumping off sides. Whistle stopping play.
Dead ball, offside, white, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, he varied the call a little. He said offsides white instead of offsides defense.
Yeah, he's got to change it up. You know, you can't just say the same thing over and over and over.
This many penalties will get redundant in a hurry.
Well, one thing for Fresno State, they'll know that Walsh is not going to be mobile. He won't be moving. And they'll try to get some pressure up the middle as well as around the corners.
1st down and 5. Walsh firing and completing it. Uh-oh. Eric Rage wide open. Can he outrun him? No, he cannot. Tommy Jones hauls him down, but it's a huge BYU gain down inside the 20.
Rage the money man. They don't call him the money man for no reason. Sooner or later, he gets his. He just comes on a quick slant in between the corner and the safety. And he's most dangerous in the slot. This is what they worried about all day. Right there now, 30, Lance Thomas, he's got to make a tackle. He's got to break down and make a tackle. And if it's not for the 4.3 and 4.4 speed of Jones and Burton, he goes all the way.
First down inside the 20. Kalen Hall or Jamal Willis it is. Edwards fell on the fumble. BYU retains possession. Walsh fumbling the snap.
It's amazing the way Walsh can move them down the field. He never gets the ball. Ooh.
It was wide open, and Jim Edwards crawling on his hands and knees, a junior out of Boise, Idaho. Picking it up. Actually, he gained a yard.
Yeah.
2nd and 9. Walsh from the shotgun. Locking it. Dolman, touchdown.
Well, that's Mr. Hustle in the wide receiving corps.
Well, there's an impressive comeback. BYU moving down the field in very few plays in short order. A 17-yard touchdown pass to Bryce Dolman.
Fresno State is sadly mistaken if they think by any means that this game is anywhere near over with, especially with Walsh behind the helm.
Joe Herrick for the extra point. It is good. 9:33 to go in the third. And BYU strikes quickly. The big long play to Drage helps set it up. CFA College Football on ABC Sports, being brought to you this afternoon by Chevrolet, who invite you to see all the new Chevy cars for 1994. And by the light beer with a great imported taste, Amstel Light. Right.
Well, you want to talk about productivity. Walsh's last 3 passes, a 14-yard touchdown, a 55-yarder, and a 17-yard touchdown. That's what I call making things happen.
Yep. Herrick kicks it out of bounds, so the option will rest with Fresno State. That drive, Walsh engineered, and of course the big pass to Drage, the biggest play of it. Only 3 plays to go 80 yards in 1 minute and 5 seconds. That got that 7 points back in a hurry.
And took no time off the clock. But that's vintage BYU football, don't you think?
That's what they can do. Herrick, who doesn't ordinarily kick him that badly, very upset with himself. Ball put in play at the 35. First down, Fresno State, and there's that quick BYU scoring drive. He went to the refrigerator.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. If you went out of the room, we'll tell you all about it.
Ron Rivers on the delay. Big hole. Finally chased down, but not till he gets out near midfield. Hauled down by Casey Mazzata with a free safety. Kenny Hall, number 77, who weighs over 300 pounds, opened a huge hole for Rivers that time.
That's one way to quiet down the crowd.
Let's go back and look at the catch by Bryce Dolman.
Not bad technique right here by Jones. It's just a good throw. He puts a little arm on him, but he turns around and makes a great adjustment on the football. That's an incredible adjustment on the football. He turned in midair, the opposite direction, and catch it and land inbounds.
Trent Dilfer, good protection, going long for Harris. He's got it. It came out after contact with the ground, even though Vic Tarleton had good coverage. Lee Harris with a fine catch.
Steve, remember the outs we kept seeing from Fresno State in the first half, and I said they're going to run and out and up sooner or later. They've been setting Tarleton up all day long for that play.
Get to the quarterback.
That's a 34-yard gain down to the 16. Fresno State coming right back on BYU. This is more like the game we thought we'd see earlier. Up and down the field. No doubt about who that little blue-clad cutie's cheering for. Both Daigle and Rivers in the backfield, and another flag.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
I guess we're going to have to get Gene Wirtz a union card pretty soon if he's on the air anymore.
Going back to that out and up, that was actually good coverage that time. I've seen DBs get burned a lot worse than that on an out and up. Just a good catch, good job of going up and getting the football.
Dilfer has the play brought into him on 1st and 15 from the 21. Yardage getting closer. Daigle gains about 3 down to the 18.
Number 90, Dome with the block.
Now let's go to New York. John Saunders for an update. John.
Steve, Alabama quarterback Jay Barker knocked out of the game with a shoulder problem. Brian Bergdorf's replacement. Alondis Bryce picks this one off in the end zone, but right now the Tide is marching, leading 9-7. Steve.
Thank you, John. Well, they're playing in Oxford, Mississippi, and Alabama never before has played Mississippi in Oxford on their campus, and it's a 2-point game in the 4th quarter.
Did you see the way that kid got up for that football? Oh, wow. Those are us.
Rivers on the reverse. Malcolm Sebron. And he'll only gain a yard. No, he's going to be out right at the line of scrimmage at the 18. All that for nothing as Corey Cook stayed home, number 17, and wouldn't let Sebron get around the corner. Hey, a reminder coming up on Monday night here on ABC Sports. We'll go to Chicago for a battle at Soldier Field and the return of Jim McMahon. The former BYU quarterback will lead the Minnesota Vikings against his former team, the Chicago Bears, and their NFC division rival in the Central Division. Monday night at 6 Pacific and 7 Mountain, ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Timeout on the field. Dilfer over to the near sideline. 7:30 to go in the 3rd. We'll be back. You want to see a spectacular view, and go up and take a look at Bridal Veil Falls, north of town. Probably the river, the scene, the steepest vertical incline in the world. It's as steep as 62 degrees in places, 1,200 feet straight up. There are enough mountains around here that you could travel around and see great sights for a long, long time. 3rd down, 12. Fresno State inside the BYU 20. Incomplete, intended for Malcolm Sebron in the end zone, but overthrown. Patrick Mitchell again had the coverage, and it's 4th and 12.
No chance right there. No chance of getting that ball in there. At best, it would have been intercepted. Good coverage that time by Mitchell and Mazzota back there.
So Derek Mahoney will come on to attempt a field goal. Lance Thomas, backup free safety, or starting free safety rather, does the holding. A 35-yard attempt. Good snap and good hold and good kick. And with 7:23 to go in the 3rd. Fresno State comes right back. Gets the field goal. It's a 10-point game. 27-17. The Bulldogs leading.
Mahoney, he's up first in the WAC in field goals with a percentage of 77%. 5th in the country. I'm not so sure how many people know that. 23 of 25 between the 20-yard and 29-yard range. Boy, and that helps your team out a lot, too. When you got an accurate field goal kicker that can get you 3 points. See, all they need to do right now is come away with points on every drive of some kind of points and avoid the turnovers. And LaVelle's got an awful lot in his mind right about now, even though Walsh is in the game, and he is moving them very quickly.
Walsh has taken him down the field on 2 possessions, one to end the first half, the other here in the second half, scored both times. Alabama now has scored in the 4th and lengthened that lead to 16-7 over Ole Miss. Look at this one. Battle of field goals. It was 3-3. Now it's 6-6. And also on ABC today, Virginia leading North Carolina. There's a surprise. And Michigan in front of Illinois, also on ABC today in the Big Ten.
You look at BYU, and they've had some bad quarters this year, and particularly the 3rd quarter. 62-21 versus their opponents.
Christensen's going to bring it out 5 yards deep from the end zone. Fumbling the football out of bounds. BYU will retain possession, short of the 20.
Boy, there was some leather popping down there. We saw him disappear into a crowd, and all of a sudden the ball came out.
That's Uta Walker. Uta Walker, who is a senior out of Los Angeles, playing on special teams and looking like he's loving it. He got in a lick down there. We want to remind you that if time permits, stay tuned for the Thrifty car rental post-game report featuring scores and highlights from across the country. After our game, if time allows. Walks back in. The ball at the 18. BYU down by 10. Midway through the third. Inside handoff. Kalen Hall will lose yardage back to the 16. Excellent penetration. 98 Chris Rockwell and 19 James Burton, along with Gene Smith, number 13, who's into the game at linebacker.
Rockwell destroyed that play. As a counter OT, they're trying to run. They're trying to pull the backside guard and tackle, and he did what you're supposed to do in a counter play. You attack the blocker. You don't sit there and get blocked. You block the blocker. He stops everything up.
Second down, about 15 to go. Walsh under pressure, and he can't run. He is going to go down. He dropped the football.
He has no mobility whatsoever.
Going to be ruled down inside the 10. He had a big guy at 255-pound Brad Bell hanging all over him for a loss of 8.
Rob Franklin, defensive line coach for Fresno State, says that's his best man. That's his pressure man. He's a fighter. He'll fight you tooth and nail. He likes to bleed out there.
He looks like a defensive lineman, too. He's got that blonde burr haircut.
Yes, yeah.
Walsh just into his end zone.
Wow.
Did Eric Grage make the catch? Yes, he did. At the 25. What hands? But it's going to be short of the first down by about 4 yards. A 17-yard gain. A diving reception by Drage. But BYU will have to punt it away.
Yeah, he didn't get the first down, but you know, there's some NFL scout in the stands right now, and he's just scribbling away all he can. Great effort right here by Drage. Look at this. Oh.
That's all hands. Boardman on the punt, and Charlie Jones back deep for the Bulldogs. Jones came up and backpedaled, took it to the 30, and I think he thought he called for a fair catch. The officials weren't sure. It was about a half a signal, but apparently enough. And they'll mark it at the 29. First and 10, a 45-yard punt by Boardman, who's done a good job. Hey, next Saturday, ABC Sports will present another college football regional doubleheader for you at 9 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Mountain Time. Most of you will see the number 2 team in the country, unbeaten Notre Dame, take on Navy. Then in Game 2, featuring regional action, a Big 8 battle pitting undefeated Nebraska against Colorado. Or in the West, it'll be USC and Cal. Be sure to check for the game in your area, available on pay-per-view as well as the local listings. Rivers slipping a tackle and getting a first down out to the 44 in the grasp of Casey Mazzota, the free safety.
There's nothing worse than a guy like Rivers run the football if you're a defensive back, because he's short, he's heavy, he's got thick legs, he's hard to tackle, and he's quick, and he can run away from you. A lot like Barry Sanders. Every time I see him run, I think about Barry Sanders. Look at that, just sheds tacklers like it's nothing and carries tacklers 10 yards. It's that wrestling, that's what it is.
Yeah, and he's got those short legs, which gives him a low center of gravity. He's hard to knock off his feet. 4:40 to go in the third, first down. Travis Winans finally hauled down after Vic Tarleton went for a ride.
Sweeney is balancing things out like you can't believe. He runs a little bit, he comes back with just enough pass to get a first down, move the chains, and now he's right back into the run again. Perfect balance between running and passing up and down the field, and the clock keeps ticking.
That was a gain of 15 to the BYU 39. First down. Fresno State leading Brigham Young by 10. Anthony Daigle bouncing outside, but the pursuit catches up with him. He'll fall forward for a gain of a couple. Casey Mazzotta again, along with Lenny Gomes, the nose guard, number 90.
Daigle right now tied for the career rushing touchdown lead and all-purpose touchdown at Fresno State. Needs one more touchdown. It's been like 3, 4, 5, 6 games now. He hadn't been able to get it.
It's like that baseball pitcher going for the 20th win of the season in his last 5 starts. Second down, about 7. Dilfer under pressure gets away. Throwing on the run and incomplete and threw it out of bounds. And a flag goes down. Lenny Gomes and Randy Brock were chasing him. And Dilfer's going to argue with referee Gene Wirtz that he had a receiver over there. Well, if he did, he made a poor effort to get the ball to him.
You see Gomes standing right there. Gomes been doing a lot of talking all day long. Talking to Dilfer, that is. Every time a bad play happens for Fresno State, Gomes is right there explaining what happened.
Illegal pass against the offense. Loss of down. 3rd down.
He just gets flushed out of the pocket. Gomes on the run again. I've seen worse than this, but it's not going to fly today. Not here. Not when you're up by a few.
That was Ted Dawson, who was the last one to get to Dilfer. That's a huge penalty back to the 44 and the loss of down to make it 3rd down and a half a mile to go. 3rd and 27. Dilfer going long down the far sideline, overthrowing the receiver, Malcolm Seabright. Tarleton again had the coverage. Patrick Mitchell, rather, had the coverage. And it'll be 4th down, and the punting team will come on. Dilfer now 14 of 25 for 218 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nathan Hall of BYU, who suffers from diabetes, has been taken to the hospital in an ambulance for precautionary measures because he's had a bout of arrhythmia. And they have taken him in an ambulance under observation. We'll try to get a report later if possible. Mahoney on the punt, and Eric Grage, number 18, back along with Kalen Hall, and they block it. Picked up by Eric Kroll, and BYU is going to have it at about the 48 of Fresno State. Eric Kroll picked it up and tried to do something with it. He did gain some yardage, but the Cougars have the ball with great field position.
We talked about the keys to success for Fresno State. They had to come up with some big plays on special teams, but that also means don't give up big plays. That's exactly the kind of play that BYU needs right now. They need a block punt. They need a strip on a kickoff return, a fumble. They need the football.
And they've got it at the Fresno State 48. Walsh with excellent protection to Drage out of bounds and incomplete, covered by Tommy Jones. Let's go to New York and check in with John Saunders.
Steve, no cliche when you say David Palmer does it all. Here lining up at quarterback, played that in high school, goes 54 yards on the money to Kevin Lee to the 8-yard line. Sherman Williams scored on the next play. Remember last week, Palmer lined up at quarterback when he ran in on the 2-point conversion against Tennessee. Steve.
All right, what a job by both players on that. You get your quarterback hurt?
Yeah.
Just run another guy in
That's
there.
all right, no problem.
Palmer, what a player.
Not a problem.
Hammond looking strong. 3:04 to go in the third. 2nd and 10 BYU. Walsh under some pressure will go down. And lose about 5. Back to the Cougar 47. Sam Watson, the strong safety, coming on the block. Or the blitz, rather.
Fresno State's in a man protection scheme. What they did, BYU overloaded one part of the field, so nobody knew who to take. If you hit that kicker and you get a piece of that ball, he's live. You can do just about whatever you want to him.
Wayland Hickman, a freshman from Calvert, Texas, blocked the punt. Third down and about 15 yards to go. Snap on the ground, but Walsh picks it up. Going deep and incomplete, no interference. Micah Matsusaki, the intended receiver, and Omar Stoutmeyer had the coverage for Fresno State. No flag on the play. And the Cougars will have to give up the ball. Virginia still leading North Carolina in the fourth quarter.
Fresno State's corners are just too fast to try to get deep ones like on them like that. I mean, you're going to have to come with some kind of route, some imagination there to shake them, because if you're going to run up the field, they'll run with you all day long.
Boardman to punt. Charlie Jones back deep, and Boardman trying to go for the corner. Knocks it out somewhere inside the 20. And they will line it up and mark it at about the 12 and a half. Not as good as his 61-yarder that went out of the 2 in the first half, but a 40-yarder out of the 12.
They'll take it.
And not too shabby.
They'll take it.
2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 27-17, Fresno State leading BYU. Trent Dilfer's had a fine day, and the Bulldogs have done a pretty good job of running the ball, particularly in the second half. They have both Anthony Daigle and Ron Rivers in the backfield. Rivers dropped from behind as he falls forward to the 15 for a gain of 3 in the grasp of Travis Hall, number 56. Incidentally, Nathan Hall, Travis Hall, and Kalen Hall, none of them are related to each other.
Related. I figured out of 3, you got to have at least 1, 2.
Well, BYU's had a lot of brothers play over the years, not only together but in different years. In this case, none of the 3 Halls, and of course Nathan, the one taken to the hospital earlier, are related to each other.
You got the Joneses on Fresno State. Charles and Tommy, they're related.
Second and 7. Dilfer flushed out again. Throwing on the run to Charlie Jones, but overthrown. Christensen on the coverage. But the ball well out of bounds, and it'll be third down and 7.
Now, I'm really surprised that Fresno State is not running the football. The last 2 plays they ran on the previous possession, they threw the football. And they were on the 50-yard line. I think they need to work on that clock right now, because that's the one thing in BYU's favor. You know, it's like the playoff game between Buffalo and Houston last year. The one thing Buffalo had in their favor is that with no tight end in the football game, Houston kept passing the football and couldn't stop the clock, or stop the clock rather.
Dilfer going out, completing it to Titus Winans. And Winans with a fine catch going out of bounds for the first down at the 26. Patrick Mitchell on the coverage.
Dilfer better be careful. Got a little careless with that one, put a little bit too much air under it. Mitchell was about an inch away from taking that one to the end zone.
Lee Harris and David Dunn into the game at wide receiver for Fresno State. Winans comes out. Siebert and Dunn to the right. And the delay to Ron Rivers. He will gain a couple. Maybe to the 28. Hauled down by Travis Hall, number 56, who's having a good game. Lenny Gomes, number 90, also on the stop. Nearing the final moment of the third quarter here in Provo. Rivers now has carried 18 times and picked up 90 yards rushing. And Jim Sweeney knows when Rivers gets 100, he wins. Again, Dilfer changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Over the middle, Charlie Jones.
It's over.
And I don't think anybody's going to catch Charlie. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
They went to the side adjustment off the blitz. There's no help inside for the corners. And if they can get that post move inside and get a little bit of separation, it's history. You're quote-unquote toast, as they say in the NFL.
A 72-yard touchdown pass from Dilfer to Jones. And the Fresno State Bulldogs answer back every single time.
Every single time, Steve. You are absolutely right. And the thing that's scary about this is the way Dilfer unloads and put this ball in the money. Imagine throwing a ball 50 yards in the air and the man you're throwing to doesn't have to break stride.
It was perfectly thrown, and with the speed of Charlie Jones, it was all over. Derek Mahoney adds the extra point. 25 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and Fresno State has lengthened their lead. They have doubled the BYU, 34-17.
Steve, we're seeing a major, big-time NFL quarterback in the making. On the outside, just a post. Look at that ball. Watch, he doesn't stop running. He does not stop running.
He had beaten Vic Tarleton about 5 yards prior to the reception, and all he had to do was catch the ball, and you knew he was going to score.
And that's what he was checking to at the line of scrimmage. There's no safety in the middle on a blitz formation by the defense, and if you can get it there and if you can get it communicated, and if he can throw that football like he just threw it, you can cash in on it every single time.
Big play, Charlie Jones makes yet another big play for Fresno State.
BYU's corners don't have the speed to run with these people. Once again, these people are 4-3 people. I mean, that is serious fast running right there.
Real-time speed.
Christensen and Anderson.
Well, the Bulldog gets an extra dog biscuit. And as big as he is, I think he needs a few more or larger size dog biscuits. Steve Christensen back along with Tyler Anderson, and Derek Mahoney, who's been almost as busy as referee Gene Wirtz today, will kick off. Christensen from 1 yard deep in the end zone. Good hole. Slipping tackles and finally tripped up, falling forward to about the 40. Nakawa Shepard, a junior out of Compton, California, who last year was a starting safety, tripped him up. A 40-yard return by Steve Christensen, a senior from Clovis, California.
He had the big return last week against Notre Dame, 56 yards. Great acceleration. He gets to the hole and just kind of stutters and then takes off.
Well, BYU with excellent field position to start this drive. Down by 17. They have it at their own 40. Final seconds of the third quarter. Walsh from the shotgun. Drage trying to get away from two guys. Cannot.
Look at the way Drage spins.
He'll gain about 2.
Look at that. He just doesn't concede a stop when he catches the ball and defenders are there. He spins, tries to get out of it, always keeps his feet moving. That's a mark of a good receiver.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score Fresno State 34, BYU 17. Back after this word and a word from your local station. Fresno State will open it up. They have a 17-point lead as we start the fourth quarter here on the campus of Brigham Young University. Steve Zabriskie and Ron Pitts, glad you could join us for this Western Athletic Conference affair. BYU trying to come back with 15 minutes to do so. They have second down and 7. The ball at their own 42. Walsh from the shotgun. Flipping it out. Matsusaki has it. And he is dragged down immediately short of the first down by strong safety Sam Watson, number 7.
Watson of Fresno brings up third down, 3 yards to go.
It'll be 3rd and 2 for the Cougars. Matsusaki and Nowatzki go out of the game. Anderson, Drage back in. 2 tight ends now with Willis the lone setback. Willis trying to get the first down. He does, and then some. Jamal Willis down to the 35 of Fresno State, and again Sam Watson made the stop. And here are the Lexus third quarter stats after a gain of 19 by Willis.
Well, you can see with those total yards, Fresno State's are number 1 in the WAC and number 4 in the nation in total yards. You think it's a joke? Look at that stat.
403 quarters.
They're for real. Yeah, 3 quarters.
Time of possession about equal, but Fresno State's done more with theirs than BYU. Walsh trying to bring him back under pressure. Gets it away, and it's incomplete. It was intended for his tight end, Chad Lewis, number 96. Real Wells had the coverage.
See, they're trying to establish what they did earlier in the first half, or late in the first half, rather. Going back to the tight end, Salyuna had a couple good catches. Got some to the backs, but Walsh has got a problem with mobility. He can step up, but after that initial step up, it's hard for him to go anywhere else.
They'll go from the shotgun again on 2nd and 10. Pumps and goes deep. Anderson, incomplete. Battling with Tommy Jones at the goal line. Neither could come up with it.
Fresno State's gambling big time. They're sending backers, and they know, and they're gambling because they know they have the corners that can cover these people man to man. Anderson runs a 10-500 meters. He's a flyer. He's beat right now, but the ball is late. If that ball is thrown on time and farther up the field toward the back pylon, it would have been a touchdown. Good play, though, by Jones.
It is 3rd and 10. Still at the Fresno State 34. Walsh has time, and he fires it and completes it to Chad Lewis, the tight end, who slips one tackle and has a first down inside the 15. Lance Thomas, the free safety, finally got him down. 21.
Once again, back to the tight ends. Fresno State using the safeties on the perimeters to cover outside. Good job of sitting in the pocket and waiting for your man to come open. Good balance here by Lewis. Boy, those are kind of shots right there. Doman comes in there and blasts Lance.
On first down, Jamal Willis. Dragging the tackler to the 9. It's Ron Papazian, the leading tackler for the Bulldogs. Jamal Willis having a good game and in need of one, as he has not had a good year.
Started off like gangbusters his freshman year. Last year was even pretty good. But this year they talked about a lot. He did not have a good year and has not been what they've expected him to be.
He's carried today 12 times for 72 yards. We have just over 13 minutes remaining in the game. BYU driving down by 17. Kalen Hall back in at running back, number 24. Walsh. Lots of time. In the end zone, touchdown! Bryce Doman standing all alone in the back corner.
Steve, when you've got that kind of time to throw the football, life is easy, trust me.
Doman, a junior from Salt Lake City. He doesn't ordinarily start, but he's the second leading receiver on the team behind Eric Graves.
He hustles, he blocks, and he's not getting the football. He runs across the field to make blocks. Just an all-around good athlete.
Joe Herrick on to attempt the extra point. And what a difference John Walsh has made in spite of playing on an injured knee and heavily braced. Brought this team to life and brought them back time and again. The extra point is perfect. And just under 13 minutes to play, it's back to a 10-point game. 34-24, Fresno State. Nearly 66,000 in attendance, and they are up and screaming as they want their Cougars to hold Fresno State and come back once again. Joe Herrick kicking it deep. David Dunn about 10 yards deep. Will not run out. 5 yards deep, brother. First and 10. Let's go back and take a look at the touchdown to Doman.
The problem here is in the left corner of your screen, the bottom corner. Stottmeyer doesn't get back to the corner of the end zone. Walsh has all day. See, he makes a leap right there, but Doman gets the play. Touchdown.
And John Walsh has completed 12 of 22 for 195 yards and 3 touchdowns since entering the game late in the second quarter. A 60-yard drive in 8 plays. Fresno State now wants to grind it out some more. Wilford to pass. Completing it to Charlie Jones again. This time, Charlie is run down from behind by Jack DeMooney, and it's safety, the junior from Hawaii. But it's a first down and a huge gain on first down for Dilfer.
They're getting the pressure up front because they're bringing the linebackers too. You see him right there in the middle, but the coverage isn't holding up, and it's not holding up on the in routes. Where's the corner? He's not even in the play, in the screen yet. They don't have the speed at the perimeters at BYU to run with these people. These people can run. They're 4-3, 4-5. They're trap people, 4-4.
And they are using Charlie Jones now to exploit that. Here's the pitch to Daigle. Big number 90, Lenny Gomes, along with Randy Brock, 97, finally get Daigle. Travis Hall also in on the play. But Daigle picks up about 5 on first down. Hey, tonight on ABC, Cher and Winona Ryder star in the network premiere of Mermaids on the Saturday night movie. Then Tony's Wife is Framed on an all-new episode of The Commish. That's all tonight right here on ABC.
You know, Steve, you got to give that Fresno State line some credit, too, because they're doing an excellent job up there. Collins, Cold Iron, James, Hartman, Hall.
There have been a few occasions where Dilfer's been under pressure, but not many. Play action, Dilfer throwing back to Daigle. Daigle into BYU territory and inside the 40. Finally hauled down by Casey Mazzota and Frank Christensen, the safeties.
Seems like Fresno State has scouted this team very well. You look at the offense here for the Bulldogs.
They were, of course, scoring champions in the NCAA the last 2 years. Right now, they're 9th. I think Nebraska is so far the leading scoring team in the nation. But they can move the ball and put points on the board, and they're doing it again today.
And the thing they like most about Dilfer, not only does he have the arm and can throw the deep ball accurately, he's smart. They can give him a lot of audible checks, and he can keep up with it. He can handle it.
Play action on first down. Dilfer now being chased out of the pocket. Travis Hall couldn't get him. And he dives out of bounds at the 36. He'll pick up a yard or 2. Ted Dawson was there to make sure Dilfer did not go any farther.
You know, I get a kick out of Sweeney. He comes downstairs in his red jacket the other day, lighting up the whole lobby. You know, he talks about, hey, this kid, I don't know why he's here. He was a linebacker in high school. Could have gone a lot of different places. UCLA recruited him. USC recruited him.
Yeah, but a lot of places didn't want him to play quarterback.
And they didn't want him to play quarterback. So he says, hey, what the heck? I'll go to Fresno State and be the quarterback I want to be.
Well, there's his comparison with Walsh, and that makes Walsh look pretty good because Walsh has only been in the game for a little over a quarter. But Dilfer's had a heck of a day. Firing it again and completing it to Lee Harris. Harris gets away. Lee Harris down inside the 5 before he's brought down by Frank Christensen. And Patrick Mitchell couldn't wrap him up.
It's been a long day for Tarleton and Mitchell, without a doubt. You know, in the NFL, if you get burned too many times, they'll put a saucer of toast in your locker. Boy, I've been that victim once or twice. It can be a long day out there. He makes the play, good position. He's just got to make the tackle.
Mitchell came back to help out, but it's a 32-yard gain. Touchdown, Fresno State, as Anthony Daigle powers in on 1st and goal. And the Bulldogs, again, every time BYU has done something here in the second half, Fresno State has been able to march down the field and more than make up for it. It's now 40-24, Fresno State, with the extra point to come. And Anthony Daigle has just become the career leader in touchdowns for Fresno State, passing Dean Philpott, who played in 54, 55, 56, and 57.
Yeah. He finally got it. Been a long time for Daigle. He finally got it.
Mahoney for the extra point. It is good. Took Daigle almost as long to get that record touchdown as it did for me to count off the years that Philpott played. Here it is again. 10:45 to go in the game. We'll be back. Another of the interesting sights up in the mountains above Provo is Sundance Ski Resort. Robert Redford's place, of course, hosting the Sundance Film Festival. The Sundance Institute has become very important in film industry as well. Another of the beautiful scenic spots here in the Wasatch Front. Can be a little distracting around here, eh, Ronnie?
Yeah, those mountains are it's a sight to see. I'll say that.
Tyler Anderson and Steve Christensen back to receive the kickoff of Derek Mahoney. Christensen finally picks it up, and he has some room. Christensen out to the 35, and Mahoney drags him out of bounds, and a flag goes down as we have another altercation on the sidelines. Mahoney with a great kick that could have been a big problem. But boy, what a return by Christensen, who found a lane and brought it back 39 yards.
Well, Christensen thought the ball was going to just roll into the end zone, I think. Or better yet, roll out of bounds, but it just stops right there, and that's
it's like a
that
wedge
ball's
shot.
Gone more than 10 yards. Yeah. Well, your wedge shot's not mine. Mine looked like line tries. Good job of running here. Look, he switches hands with the ball.
Oh, there's the
switches
penalty.
Balls. Yeah.
Well, Mahoney's a kicker. He didn't know how to make a tackle any other way.
Well,
we have a face mask.
Some people didn't like that down there.
5 yards against the kicking team. Dead ball. Personal ball against the receiving team. Both penalties will be assessed. 5 yards and then 15 yards.
Well, you know, really what Christensen was doing was taking exception to being yanked down by the face mask. But I think what happened was that some other player got involved away from the tackle, and that's where the personal foul really came into play. And of course, there's the kicker, Mahoney. Derek Mahoney, a senior from Fountain Valley, California. He's just happy to make the tackle. That's the 11th penalty assessed against BYU for a total of 105 yards. And the net effect of losing 10 moves the ball back to the 31. Well, they will start with 10:38 left to go in the game, down 41-24. Walsh will go from the shotgun. Overthrows Drage. You had Chad Lewis, the tight end, and Eric Drage both back there together. Lance Thomas, number 30, the free safety on the coverage. And again, we remind you, coming up next Saturday here on ABC Sports, a college football regional doubleheader beginning at 9 Pacific and 10 Mountain. Most of you will see Notre Dame and Navy. And then game 2 in the Big 8, it'll be undefeated Nebraska going up against Colorado. In the West, you'll see USC in California, and some will see Penn State, Ohio State. Big day of regional action. Check the listings for the game in your area and check with your local cable company to see which game other than that one may be available to you on pay-per-view.
You know, that goes back to what we were talking about, that last play and the keys to success for BYU. Not passing effectively on first down.
Now it's second down and long. Completing it this time. Matsusaki with a reception, hit immediately by Tommy Jones, the right corner, but it's a first down. Moves the ball out to the 45. A gain of 15.
And I noticed Fresno State now, they've called the dogs off finally. They've stopped the blitzing, and they're playing a 2-deep coverage, 2 safeties deep and 2 corners in the flat areas. And 3 underneath zone people in between the corners.
Walsh again has good protection, throws behind Anderson, and a flag goes down in the backfield. Ron Papazian was covering Tyler Anderson over the middle. That's the kind of speed mismatch you want, although Papazian runs very well for a linebacker. He cannot keep up with Tyler Anderson, but we have yet another flag. reminder that if we have time, we'll have the Thrifty post-game report for you.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty, swaddle foul, first down.
So not only did they not complete the pass, but the holding penalty will move the ball back to the 29. And when you play in the WAC and you say time permitting, we'll have the Thrifty car rental post-game report. The chance of having time permitting for Thrifty is slim. First down at about 25 and complete. Eric Drage at about the 44. Wrestled to the ground by Sam Watson and James Burton.
I got a feeling that they're setting Fresno State up for a hook and lateral. They're going to throw that same pattern. And on the outside.
Little flea flicker action?
Exactly. Like Kalen Hall, he was right in position for him to throw that ball to him, just lateral it back and go for a long score or something.
9:45 to go in the game. It's second down and about 12. Walsh incomplete and almost intercepted by Burton. Burton diving in front of the intended receiver, Tyler Anderson. Almost picked it off. It'll be third down and about 12.
And Walsh is saying to Anderson, you got to come back to the football, but you know, that was just a good break and a good drive by Burton. They're playing inside. Look, he knows it too. That's inside man-to-man technique about 5 yards off because they got the speed that if they go up deep on them, they can take off and catch up. It's tough to get corners like that. They've got the speed and they can come up and hit you too.
BYU is only 5 of 15 on third down conversions today. Walsh long over the middle. Drage with the great hands and another reception at the 32 for a first down. Omar Stoutmeyer had the coverage, but Drage went up and brought it down at the Fresno State 32, a gain of 24.
Drage gets his hands on the football, touches the football, he's going to catch it. And Walsh, you got to give the credit to Walsh there too, because he put that ball right over Burton's head. Couldn't have been thrown any better. Underthrows it a little bit, it's going to get intercepted. Perfect throw.
BYU has time, even though they're down in the game.
They have time.
They have to stop Fresno State on defense. They've not been able to do that. Walsh firing, completing it again, and getting away. Saluoni close to a touchdown out at the 2-yard line. James Burton pushed Terrence Saluoni out right at the 2-yard line, or he would have scored. And what a job he did to get free for a gain of 20. It's first and goal.
You notice every time they go back to their tight end, they have success. That's the key man that's been missing, I think, in this BYU offense in the last year or so.
Well, back when you played for UCLA, they had a great one in Gordon Hudson.
But just great strength that time by Saluoni. Almost stays in. Boy, they said his foot. They said his foot went out right there at the 2. But you know, if you don't count that, that's a touchdown.
Well, he did everything he could trying to get the ball in there. Jamal Willis on a sweep. He will score. Touchdown. Tim Hanshaw and Jim Edwards making excellent blocks. Edwards, number 68 at 275 pounds, and Jamal Willis with strong running to bust through Lance Thomas' final attempt to stop him and score.
Edwards 68, Pilgrim 70. 68 Edwards pulling right there, but the block comes right there from Impey 66. They piled up about 3 or 4 guys just right there. Willis bounces it outside and makes the touchdown.
Joe Herrick for the extra point. And it is partially blocked, but gets through. I think somebody got a hand on it. Maybe it was just a line drive knuckleball, but it's back to a 10-point game. 72 total, however. BYU is now going to have to try to stop Fresno State as they've come back to within 10 with 9:09 to play. Herrick kicks it off. David Dunn is deep. And Dunn from about the 3. Out to the 25 and falling forward to about the 27. Where Fresno State will try to grind it out. Tim Nowatzki on the stop, number 42. And they're having a hard time getting untangled down there. In just over a quarter, well, not really even a quarter and a half, as you look at the quick scoring drive again by BYU, John Walsh has thrown 16 of 28 for 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, and led them to another on Jamal Willis's run on the ground.
The game's never over against BYU.
And Trent Dilfer and company will try to do what they've done so well, especially in the second half, and that is march the ball down the field, eat minutes off the clock, and maintain this lead. Rivers breaking free. Gets a first down as Jack DeMooney runs him out of bounds on the far sideline. And we have another penalty flag down on the play.
That's the one play that's hurting BYU so much because they do it on first down.
Holding. Gets the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, Fresno State now hurting themselves.
Hurting themselves right now with the penalties. They do it on first down, and now it leaves a 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3. They've got a waste down in there. And the onus once again is on Dilfer to come back and back and back and keep scoring and keep taking the team down the field. If BYU's corners can just hold up, I think they need to go to another coverage secondary-wise and not lock these guys up anymore because they've been hurt by it today.
From the spot of the foul, 10 yards makes it 1st and 15. Dilfer rolling. Completed catch. Diving out of bounds, Malcolm Sebron kept his feet in bounds and held on to the ball at the 36. Dilfer took a shot after he got rid of it. But we have another penalty flag down, and it may be that Dilfer was hit late.
Looks like a roughing the passer on 46 Dawson.
Against the defense, 15-yard penalty at the end of the run, first down.
Shea Muirbrook, number 46.
Muirbrook with the late hit, not Dawson.
And we told you earlier that time permitting, we'd have the Thrifty post-game report. Well, we'll have to tell you that there will be no time remaining, and therefore time permitting is not a factor. Sorry to say, we'll not have time for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report for you today. But as always, we'll try to keep you up to date on everything that's happening, as we've been doing with the sports board and all the scores throughout the game. I think she likes that happen. I don't think she cares what the score is either. She's having a good time. At the BYU 49, Fresno State with 8:52 remaining in the game, 1st and 10. Rivers. Good blocking on the corner, but a fine play by Randy Brock, number 97, to fight his way through and drag Rivers down. It might have been more of a first down game.
Look at BYU's defensive line, especially guys like Brock. They go 6'6", 250, but they're so lean looking. I mean, they look like big, wide receivers or something. You know, they're not fat, they're not sloppy, anything like that. They're good agility people. They move down the line well. They scrape well, they get off blocks well, make tackles.
Anthony Daigle at tailback, banging forward for a couple as he punches it inside the 45.
Number 56, Travis Hall, and 39, Ross Morris. On the stop for BYU.
And there appears to be an injured BYU player still on the ground. Timeout called by the officials. Rob Morris, number 39, a freshman from Nampa, Idaho, shaken up on the play. And the way he's holding it, looks like it could be a leg. 7:52 to play. We'll take a timeout and be back in just a minute.
We have some other scores from around the country. The final, Baylor 13, TCU 38, Boston College 41, Army 14. Also a final, Kansas State 16, Colorado 16. In the third quarter, Louisville 21, Navy.
Morris helped off the field, as you saw, with apparently a leg or knee injury. We got a good report that Nathan Hall is okay after going to the hospital with a bout of arrhythmia. The hospital has released him to return to the stadium. We doubt, however, he will return to the game. Third down. Dilfer under pressure, flips it out, incomplete. What a play by Frank Christensen on Anthony Daigle, who was open in the flat. And Randy Brock, number 97, was putting the pressure on Trent Dilfer.
Play was made by Brock. He got the immediate pressure on Dilfer. Dilfer, as tall as he is, 6'5", 235, he has to jump up and still can't make the pass completion. And good job of coverage on Christensen, too.
So Derek Mahoney on to punt it away on 4th down. BYU has done what they had to do, and that is not let Fresno State go down and score this time. They're down by 10, 7.5 minutes to go in the game. Flags all over the place, stopping play, even though Mahoney went through with the punt. I'll tell you what, I've seen more flags on the field today, and we thought we had a game earlier this year where there were a lot of penalties.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
You know, early in the season, Ron, you can understand illegal procedure penalties, but this far into the season, they should really have their act together, I think.
It's just mental conditioning. You know, the coaches harp day in, day out, especially on a Friday practice. That's what they're for, to go over nothing but special teams, make sure guys are onside, don't make any mistakes. We used to fine guys in Green Bay. It was $10 for every mental substitution you missed, or anytime you jumped off sides or anything like that.
Well, we've had a total of 25 combined penalties today, and the penalty yardage totals 238. 2.5 times almost up and down the field. Bait. Well, we'll do it again. Eric Grage and Mike Johnston are back to receive Mahoney's punt. Mahoney's hopefully gets it out deep so nobody can return it. Under some pressure, he gets it away. Fair catch called for. Grage lets it bounce, and it rolls into the end zone. But Grage did a good job that time of faking the coverage men out.
Yeah, he used his 10-yard rule. Anytime a ball lands inside the 10-yard line, got to let it go.
CFA College Football here on ABC this afternoon, being brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, including the 1994 ES, improved, revised, refined, in a word, new, by the United States Postal Service. We deliver for you. By State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by RCA, changing entertainment again. BYU 1st and 10 at their own 20. The officials stopping play.
Timeout. Fresno State.
Fresno State waited till BYU came up to the line and called a timeout. 7:23 left to go in the game. Fresno State has 1 timeout remaining. BYU has all 3 of theirs left. It was slow getting going, but it hasn't been slow since. Fresno State led by 10 at half. They lead by 10 right now with 7:23 to play. BYU has it 1st down at their 20. Walsh firing for Grage, who has it. Grage gets away.
Watson's got to make the tackle.
Eric Grage down to the 26 of Fresno State. Rio Wells finally caught up with him. What a catch Grage made right over the top of Wells. And it's a 54-yard play.
Perfect throw and a perfect catch. There's nothing you can really do about that as a defensive back. But the big story is what happens after the catch. Grage pulls it down. Now he takes off, and this is where he's really dangerous.
Look at that average.
Look at that average, boy.
23 yards a catch today. Kalen Hall finds a hole and takes it inside the 20. Lance Thomas, number 30, the free safety on the stop.
See, now it's a matter of how fast BYU can get this ball in the end zone. Coming away with a field goal won't be bad here because they're going to need that field goal down the line anyway to at least get a tie. Or if they can get a score, they can go for 2.
Second down, about 2. Walsh has all day.
Boy, got Anderson running in the end zone, touchdown. the top of the field. Came on a drag route all the way across. We talked about the keys of success for Fresno State. They had to get pressure on the quarterback. They stopped getting the pressure, Steve. Walsh, the last few times out, he's had a lot of time to throw the football. That time he had a lot of time to throw the football.
6.5 minutes remaining. BYU taking again very little time to score. And Joe Herrick will try to make it a 3-point game. He does.
Walsh 18 of 30 for 351 yards and 4 TDs. Boy, I'm starting to see shades of Detmer and Young and McMahon.
And he's doing it pretty much on one leg as he entered the game late in the second half and has brought BYU back to within 3 with 6.5 minutes to go on this pass to Tyler Anderson.
Anderson's on the right side of the screen as a wideout. He's going to drag all the way across the field. That is what Walsh is waiting on. See, he's got him right now. Makes a throw. They've got a coverage problem. They're in a zone coverage. Nobody was deep enough. Now that's 2 times down there in that goal line area that Fresno State has had a bust in the secondary that's cost them touchdowns. Once again, they put the onus on Dilfer to come back and take the team down the field. Now the thing they got to do is that they got to hold on to this football or score. They can't go 1, 2, 3 pass, run no time off the clock, and then punt it away. Because BYU, they've got them running now. The Cougars are coming.
Well, it's one thing that makes this place tough for visiting teams. 66,000 screaming fans and the ability BYU has always had with their passing game to come from behind. Herrick will kick it off. Dunn back deep. Dunn running through tacklers out to about the 26. So that's where Fresno State will start. They'll need to control the ball, and let's check in with John Saunders.
And what a finish between Michigan and Illinois. Under a minute, Johnny Johnson in trouble. Tosses it 15 yards to Jim Klein for the go-ahead touchdown. And Illinois, for the first time since '66, wins in Ann Arbor. The Big Ten standings, Ohio State and Wisconsin undefeated. Look at the Wolverines at 2-2. Steve.
Oh, John, and not only that, Illinois 3-1 up there.
Tell John to hold on now, because we got one out here. Hold on, John.
We might have the same kind of ending right here, Mr. Saunders. 6:24 to go, and it's getting deafening. Ron Rivers breaking through and gets a first down out to about the 38. Ball down by Corey Cook and Casey Mazzota.
I've counted 5 initial plays. The first play of the series for Fresno State, they run the same play to Rivers. And they've hit money on it every single time. Now the clock's going to run. Dilfer's got to sit and wait. He's got to let that clock run down to 3 seconds, 2 seconds, whatever. BYU might be put in a situation where they have to call a timeout sooner or later. The chains moved. It's a first down.
And Ron Rivers is now over 100 yards rushing. 20 carries, 107 yards. Fresno State has a lot lost when he's gained 100, and he has the ball again. Somehow he got some yardage when it looked like he was stopped in the backfield.
That's too much.
Out to the 42.
And on top of what you were saying there, Steve, they're 42-2-1 when a back has rushed for over 100 yards since 1985 at Fresno State.
Well, we thought it would be a typical WAC game. We were kidding about first team to 50 wins. We've gone over 1,000 yards in total offense combined. We have a total of 79 points scored already. And there's time for more.
Boy, but Dilfer is so good in this situation. Remember the FC game last year, the bowl game.
2nd and 7. Over the middle. He is down. Anthony Daigle going all the way. Daigle not only wide open, but untouched. And that may do it, a 58-yard touchdown for Fresno State.
I tell you, if I've ever seen a guy have a Heisman-type day, he's having one. And I know Charlie Ward, he's a bad man back there at Florida State. But Dilfer, boy, he's going to get a lot of people looking at him this week. Once again, Keys to success for BYU, no big plays. And they have given him up all day long.
Those who came to root on Fresno State are having a good time as Derek Mahoney will go for yet another extra point. Right down the middle as usual. 1 second less than 5 minutes remaining in the game, and it is now a 10-point lead once again. 48-38 Fresno State. Once again, let's get an update from John Saunders.
Steve, another terrific finish. This one in the Pac-10. Eric Price, 50 yards, trying to tie Arizona, but he misses for the second time on the day, and Arizona holds them off in the battle of field goals, 9-6. Steve.
Who'd have thought that game would have been that low scoring, and what an antithesis we have here.
Look at this. But it's not, but you know, you still got 5 minutes left.
We had a field goal, but way back when, didn't we? First quarter, didn't we have two field goals?
2 field goals,
yeah. Two. They've kind of got lost in the shuffle here.
Here's the play right here. They got a bad matchup problem.
Well, Ted Dawson, the linebacker.
On Daigle. Ted, for the offensive coordinator, he said, if I can get this matchup, I hope I can get this matchup. I pray for this matchup right here. There's no way that's going to work. And you know why? BYU's trying to bring the pressure with the linebackers up the middle and on the outside. And somebody's got to cover these backs if they come out of the backfield.
Steve Christensen, along with Tyler Anderson, back to receive. Mahoney kicks it off. Christensen, about 8 yards deep. No thanks. And Trent Dilfer has thrown for a career high today. Well over 400 yards passing. And he has not only come up with the big plays, but been able to move his team down the field and answer back every single time BYU has gotten close. Monday night here on ABC Sports, you'll see a big battle at Soldier Field. Quarterback Jim McMahon, who has a little history not only with the Bears, but with BYU, returns to Chicago with the Minnesota Vikings. It's an NFC Central Division rival battle, the Bears and the Vikings, Monday night. 6 Pacific and 7 Mountain on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. BYU down by 10. First and 10 from the 20. Walsh hobbling, firing, completing it to Kalen Hall. And Hall, trying to do some dancing, almost went down. But it's a first down at the 40 in the grasp of Lance Thomas and Rio Wells.
Now BYU comes back with their answer to that. They're going to use their backs out of the backfield.
Rio Wells, a true freshman out of Mario, Louisiana. A gain of 20. First and 10 at the 40. Walsh runs out of time. Sacked from the backside by Chris Rockwell. Out of Oroville, California. A junior at 6'5" and 255, who's had a pretty good game for a defense that's given up 38 points.
Yeah.
He loses 8 on the sack, and BYU will go without a huddle.
Fresno State's got 5 DBs in the game, now 6.
Walsh can't find anybody open. Incomplete. It was intended for Salioni, the tight end. Terrence could not hold on. Clock stops with 4 minutes, 11 seconds remaining. And it'll be third and about 19.
This is the time in the game as a defensive player, particularly a defensive back, you don't want any coverage bust. If you've got a deep third or deep half of the field, stay in it. Don't bite up on anything, no matter how good it looks.
Roger French, the offensive coordinator, obviously pumped. And it's complete to Drage. And the money man is into Fresno State territory at the Bulldog 45 with a first down, knocked down by Steve Bromby. A gain of 24.
Boy, they use Drake so well in the slot. And he's most dangerous in the slot because he runs option routes. He just gets open. He doesn't run any particular route. He just looks for the open place.
BYU will go without a huddle again. Walsh firing it, completing it to Christensen. Christensen close to a first down at the 35. Omar Stoutmeyer and Crombie on the stop.
Crombie and Stoutmeyer with the stop.
Passing's good when you're making first downs because they got to stop the clock to move the chains.
Here's what's happening next Saturday on ABC. Notre Dame Navy head up a regional doubleheader for you. You'll see in the Big 8. Nebraska, Colorado are in the West. USC and Cal, Penn State, Ohio State up in the Midwest and Northeast. So check your local listings for the game in your area. Also, be sure to check with your local cable company and see what alternate game may be available to you on pay-per-view. Close enough that they want to measure. And it looks to be just enough for a first down. It is. 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the game. It is 48-38 Fresno State. Walsh has done a heck of a job in only playing about half the game, considering the great day Dilfer's had. Short underneath complete.
They've got to make a tackle.
Nowatzki breaks a tackle. Close to it. He's in there. Oh, touchdown. Tim Nowatzki with great effort. Bryce Dolman helps him up, and Bryce Dolman helped him into the end zone with a great block.
Look at the way BYU's wideouts run after the catch. We've seen it from Drage. We've seen it here now from Nowatzki, Dolman. All a bunch of hustlers back there.
Well, they catch that ball on the run just like just like Charlie Jones did for Fresno State. And man, they're hard to stop. Walsh now 22 of 35 for a career high, 439 yards, and that was his 5th touchdown pass of the day. Joe Herrick again. Right down in the middle. And we are back to a 3-point game with 3:43 remaining. 48-45 Fresno State. And let's take another look at the pass from Walsh, who has been amazing today, to Tim Nowatzki, number 42, a junior from Michigan City, Indiana, who joins the scoring parade.
Fresno State, they've got 5 defensive backs in the game. The problem is they're not getting the heat up front. Look at Walsh. He stands. Now you get the open receiver. They got to make a play. They're sitting here in man coverage. You got to stay tighter on your man. You got to make a play.
He got a knee inside the pylon, said the official.
You can't get to the quarterback with your pressure. The corner's got to know that they got to stay within arm's distance, so if the man catches the ball, you can tackle him and avoid that. Now Fresno State, they're expecting an onside possibly. They better be careful. I don't see Fresno State or BYU onside kicking this football.
Well, timeout called on the field. Fresno State calling timeout probably just because they might have thought of an onside kick and they wanted the right guys up here.
Exactly.
But that's their last timeout. BYU still has all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Fresno State has none, with 3 minutes 43 seconds remaining in the game.
You can tell by the way they move the ball down the field, and I'm talking about BYU, that they've got a lot of experience in their coaching staff. You start off with Lavelle. He's been there 22 years. Roger Frenzy, offensive coordinator, he's been there 13 years. Ken Smith, defensive coordinator, he's been there 11. He's the young guy kind of out of the bunch. Norm Child, quarterback, wide receiver coach, he's been there 16 years. Dick Felt, DB coach, he's been there 26 years. These people have seen it all. That's one thing Sweeney said yesterday. They've seen it all. We can't show them a formation that they haven't seen.
Not only that, offensively, they have one of the most sophisticated attacks in college football. Jim Sweeney out with a word of encouragement for Charlie Jones, telling him what to do as he'll be the lone deep back. Everybody else is going to be up close. Trent Dilfer, you saw earlier on the bench for Fresno State. He's done just about all he could do and then some, and still scoring 48 points. They have but a 3-point lead late in the 4th. There's the timeout situation?
I've seen situations like this where they try to pooch kick this ball around the 20 real high where there's nobody at.
Trying to get it over the short guys and in front of the deep man. But Herrick goes ahead and just bangs it through the end zone. So no return and no onside kick. 1st and 10, Fresno State at the 20.
1st and 10 on its own 20.
Well, they've been able to do it before. Can they do it again? If they can put it away here, keep the ball and move it down the field, whether they grind it off or whether they go down and score quickly, they should have the game in hand one way or another.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if BYU secondary-wise made an adjustment with the linebackers for not letting that matchup come back to fruition again. On Daigle, I mean, you got to get a DB on Daigle.
Ron Rivers has a hole, runs into his own man, and then gets 5 to the 25. Finally stopped by Casey Mazzolta, the free safety.
Rivers doesn't run into Arnold. He has at least 10 yards of first down and maybe then some. BYU stunning on the move. They're trying to make something happen. They just can't sit here and let this clock go down.
Clock running at 3 minutes, 17 seconds remaining. Fresno State with no timeouts. They don't want to stop it. They want to keep it going. 2nd down and 5. Rivers again. And a fine play by number 46, Shea Muirbrook, a true freshman from Norco, California, who broke through and got Rivers around the ankles.
Brings up 3rd down, 3 yards to go.
Timeout called by BYU.
Good timeout.
They stop the clock with 2:59 remaining. They have 2 timeouts left. And it's going to be 3rd down and about 3.5 yards to go. Here are the standings in the BYU, or in the WAC conference, with BYU and Wyoming having won. 4-0. San Diego State 3-0, and Fresno State can ill afford a second loss, or they will drop out of that top echelon and really lose just about all chance they might have for the conference championship when it comes down to the end of the season.
Fresno State needs this win to stay alive, and BYU emotionally can't afford to lose this one.
Dilfer on the sideline as the offense is huddled around Jim Sweeney and the coaching staff for Fresno State. You know, one of the great things about this game is not only that it is close and exciting and each team is in the hunt, but Jim Sweeney and Lavelle Edwards are pretty darn close friends. They have a tremendous relationship. They really enjoy coaching against each other, and that adds a little something for each guy.
Well, coming into this game, the NCAA total offense record for both teams in the game, Houston versus TCU in '90, is 1,563 yards. Today, we're at 1180.
On 3rd and 3, Anthony all the way on the outside.
He's got to stay in bounds.
And he does. Dragged down at about the 48. Frank Christensen and Casey Mazzolta, but what a big play for Fresno State. A gain of 21 on 3rd and 3.
They lined up in a stack offense, a short yardage offense. Hey, short yardage, you thinking you're going to go right up the middle for that one? They bounce it right outside. Look at everybody stacked inside. The corner here, Mitchell, he's got to not get cut. He's got to keep outside leverage, because if he didn't make that play on the outside, there's his pursuit right there. They would have got there in time. He can't get put on his feet, on his back that easy.
Rivers breaks a tackle into BYU territory, and he stays in bounds at about the 43. Lenny Gomes, the nose guard, and Casey Mazzolta, the free safety on the stop. Well, here are our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. For Fresno State, it's Trent Dilfer. Without question, what a day for the quarterbacks. And for BYU, John Walsh coming into the game late in the 2nd quarter and bringing BYU back big time to within 3 now with 2 minutes remaining in the game. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. From the full house backfield, Anthony Daigle for short yardage, maybe a yard at most. But the important thing is that clock, which is now stopped as it's close enough for them to look for the first down. 1:44 to go, and there's Walsh.
Smart now, BYU. Not going to use another timeout. They're going to try to wait, see if they can get the football back and use them on offense.
Well, referee Gene Wirtz has called this timeout because he wants to measure to see if, in fact, Fresno State has the first down. BYU has 2 remaining, but they need to get the ball back. Dilfer today, 21 of 34 for 456 yards and 4 touchdowns. Walsh has only thrown for over 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
These are what you call Heisman-type days. When they say you're a Heisman hopeful, this is the kind of days you got to come out and have.
Now Dilfer, he'll be in the hunt with the statistics he's put up, and he goes into his senior year next year. There'll be a lot of publicity. And John Walsh, only a sophomore.
If he goes into his senior year.
Yeah, that's true. Dilfer could elect not to go into his senior year. Walsh, if he can get healthy, can have a great career here at what has become known as quarterback U. Utah with a big win over Colorado State in the win. Ron Rivers to the 40 for a gain of about 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. Shea Muirbrook, Corey Cook on the tackle. Clock running with 1:10. But now,
they got to call
calls timeout.
Yeah, it got to the point now when they're running that football, they got to call a timeout.
They stop it with 1:11 to play. Well, there's not a whole lot they can talk about over there, Ron. They got to say, we got to stop them whatever they do. If BYU doesn't get the ball back, they don't have a chance.
And the biggest problem is that they've got a 3rd down. Well, they've got a 2nd down coming up, but if they can't stop them, the clock, the game clock is going to continue running, and of course Fresno State is going to keep using that game clock right down to the last bit every time. So, you know, yeah, it's only 25 seconds, but you got 1:11 left to play. That's a big 25 seconds if you let them take it.
Well, as good a day as Dilfer's had, Ron Rivers is another key guy for Fresno State because Rivers has gone over 100 yards again. 25 carries, 126 yards rushing. Fresno State does not lose when Rivers gains over 100. And he's been the main man to keep these late drives alive and eat that clock up on the ground. He's been running hard, breaking tackles, and they know they're going to him.
They've got the best of both worlds. That's what I think.
And they're using it. BYU's jumping around as Arnold, the tight end, changed sides. Rivers again. Stiff arm. There he goes. Finally knocked down at the 19 by Nathan Hall, who went to the hospital and is back in the game. Number 49 for BYU, Nathan Hall, back on the field.
Excuse me, I said Mazzotta got stiff arm. Now that was Cook that got the compliments of the bone that time.
And it turned into a 21-yard gain for Ron Rivers. Corey Cook shoved to the ground. 1:05 as you see left to go. Here's the total yards for each team. Baby. Wear out the turf here. Not only has Dilfer had another fantastic day.
I don't know what the problem is down here. They're letting the clock expire, but the game clock wasn't running.
We're going to score 7 right here.
Maybe that's what Dilfer's complaining about, is that the clock didn't get restarted. They let the play clock run down, and the ball is moved back to the 24 on the penalty.
We snapped the ball, they called timeout. We snapped the ball, we run 40 seconds, we snapped the ball, it's over, it's a wrap.
See Sweeney and Son on the sidelines there.
Kevin Sweeney, former quarterback, son of Jim Sweeney in the red shirt, standing on the sideline. That time BYU big-time penetration. Ron Rivers dropped for a loss by Travis Hall, number 56. And BYU calling a timeout. Their last timeout. They stopped the clock with 56 seconds remaining. The ball is at the 28 of the Cougars. Ron Rivers slow in getting up, but he appears to be all right.
The clock should read 59 seconds. 59 seconds.
Nobody has any timeouts remaining now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yesterday in practice, Fresno State's practice, Sweeney walked up and down the rows as they were stretching, saying, "Pride, Bulldog pride, Bulldog pride." And every time he'd say it, a player would yell out at him, "Bulldog pride." They took a lot of pride in coming down here and playing with BYU and making it a physical football game and just really trying to get after him. And that guy right there, he had as much of heart in it as anybody. There's nothing, nobody's a piece of work like Tim Sweeney. Well, I tell you, he comes down in that red jacket, it just lights up the whole area. It's an altogether fun kind of coach, good guy to be around.
Yeah, he really enjoys the game and enjoys what he does.
Kind of guy likes to grab you and arm wrestle you right quick, you know.
Well, Fresno State, not only if they hold on and win this game is it a big one because BYU unbeaten in the WAC and they already have one loss. But this is a tough place to play. This is the third toughest place to play away from home. BYU with the best winning percentage in the last 10 years, third only to Miami and Nebraska. So that would make the Fresno State victory here even larger. Dilfer's just going to take a knee. He gets bumped by Randy Brock after going to one knee, but Brock, getting his 250 pounds moving, couldn't stop it. No penalty. 46 seconds. Clock running now.
They'll have to run one more play.
BYU, no timeouts left. So there's very little they can do about it, and I think that was a smart play. Why not go ahead and take the loss when you got the downs?
It's without a doubt.
Now it's third down.
They're trying to stop the clock.
Yeah, they're trying to get a penalty to stop it as Gomes jumps off sides. 26 seconds remaining. Now this will be interesting. Listen to what Gene Wirtz has to say. Maybe this is the last time we're going to hear from Gene.
Offside against the defense, 5-yard penalty. The clock will start on the ready for play.
Yeah, they're not going to let him get away with it. I knew that would happen. They're going to start the clock when it's ready for play. Because they can't intentionally control the clock in that fashion, and that's what Gomes tried to do. Well, here's the score by quarters, the line score, if you will. Look at that fourth quarter.
28 points.
42 points scored here in the final stanza today. That's almost as many as one of these two teams has scored all day. Clock running down to 5 seconds, and Fresno State is going to come away with a huge victory today. Dilfer's going to run around and take
watch that.
And what a day for Trent Dilfer. What a day for John Walsh in a losing effort. At quarterback U, the visiting quarterback did it. For Ron Pitts, Steve Zabriskie saying so long from Provo, Utah.